Freedom, I never had the chance to run. Leave behind the said and done. Figure out what's to come. Reasons, all the bigger things I can't ignore. I'm not getting what I came here for. Gotta get ahead of something more. So I think I found a new way out, way beyond a shadow of doubt. 'Cause I can't breathe, and I guess I could be stronger now and leave it up to fate somehow. But I'm doing this for me. Give it up, baby, I'm not fooling anyone. Always going on and on. Can't you keep it to yourself for once? Oh, I think I found a new way out, way beyond your shadow of doubt. And I can't breathe. Oh, I hope you're keeping count of all the times you let me down, and all the things you said out loud, the bullshit I could cry about. And I know we could be stronger now and leave it up to fate somehow. But everything I do for me.
I get lost sometimes and I can't seem to find a light between the walls I built for myself right in my mind. And then you came over and you showed me love that I never had seen before. And now when I got you, it's all gonna be alright. Thinking about all the things we did tonight, what a time to be alive. Just you and I, just you and I. Only you can put the fire out. You can turn it all around. You can lift me off the ground, so we can fly again, so we can fly again. Trying hard not to go out of my mind. And all I need right now is for you to stay the night. But if you keep saying that you've got to leave, then I'm gonna be alright. As long as you tell me that we ain't running out of time. Thinking about all the things we did tonight, what a time to be alive. Just you and I, just you and I. Only you can put the fire out. You can turn it all around. And you can
speed of light do decay more slowly than stationary particles. As strange and counterintuitive as it seems, time dilation is a law of nature.
your feet. Stand up, stand up. Come on, get loose with the heat. Right now. We go party till we black out. So get the fuck up.
had the chance to run, leave behind the said and done, figure out what's to come. Reasons, all the bigger things I can't ignore. I'm not getting what I came here for. Gotta get ahead of some Baby, I'm not fooling anyone. Always going on and on. Can't you keep it to yourself for once? Oh, I think I found a new way out. Way beyond your shadow doubt. And I can't breathe. Oh, I hope you're keeping count of all the times you let me down. And all the things you said out loud. The bullshit I could cry about. And I know we could be stronger now. And leave it up to fate somehow. But everything I do for me.
I get lost sometimes and I can't seem to find a light between the walls I built for myself right in my mind. And then you came over and you showed me love that I never had seen before. And now when I got you, it's all gonna be alright. Thinking about all the things we did tonight. What a time to be alive. Just you and I, just you and I. Only you can put the fire out. You can turn it all around. You can lift me off the ground.
Okay. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to Simplay Motorsport here for rounds 9 and 10 of the Pro Series. We're at Catalunya as we was last night. Janetta just touching the grass there and losing the rear. We're at Catalunya as we was last night. A few people just running a little bit late. Hopefully they will turn up. We should have 14 on the grid tonight. No Monkey Boy after the birth of his son. Not able to be with us. Oh, we've lost Peaceful there. Hopefully he can get back in as well. And I do believe no Phil tonight due to work, so will the Acoras have a team up? We believe next week is the first one. But I'm Matthew Duffin, joined in the commentary box tonight by my lovely co-commentator Sticky in the box. Kelly, how are you?
I'm very well, Matt. And yourself?
Very good, thank you, buddy.
Yeah, good. And looking lovely here in Spain, isn't it?
It's looking absolutely beautiful, and yet again, it's going wrong.
Oh, what's gone wrong already?
Gary says invite, please.
Oh, that's not good. That's not good, because that means you've got to leave the session.
That means I've got to leave the session, but I don't want to leave the session in a cup.
Can you message someone else to give him an invite? Or doesn't it work like that?
It doesn't work like that, unfortunately. It doesn't work like that, so Gary may have to miss race 1 then. In this one.
As you remember, those who tune in on a regular basis may remember that we had a couple of issues last week with all kinds of internet-related problems. So we're very keen to avoid that this week. Just before we get started, the chat's already really hot this evening.
Yeah.
It is. 12 people watching already, early doors. So welcome, everyone. Just going to the bottom, Liam saying, can I get higher? I'm not going to do it like Daniel does it. Can I get higher on the commentary? Well, higher.
Yeah, higher.
So, and as I said, Team Prolapse in. We've got Green Pies in. Fury. Hello, Fury.
Team Prolapse himself saying, did my message get deleted? What message? Not seen a message come up. There's been nothing deleted.
No, absolutely not. The only G in there, hello G, nice to have you on board. Let's say Fury and Killian, who's Green Pies, and Liam in there as well. Hurry up, Liam! You're supposed to be here driving, so get your backside in here. So the chat is nice and chatty, which is a lovely start. So keep your comments coming. We do love to hear your comments, and keep them coming our way.
Indeed so. Sunny Catalunya tonight for around 9 and 10 as Peaceful Explosion is then back in the lobby. Beautiful, beautiful weather. It's pretty much the same as what you faced last night, Kelly.
Yeah. Yep.
Track temps which are going to be high. It's going to be a key round here for these left-hand tyres, especially the left-hand side. What have you got to do to keep these tyres at a decent temperature, keep the grip there? It's going to be a tough one for these guys, isn't it? You know a bit more than myself.
Yeah, well, we know that everyone's probably going to run hards unless they're absolutely crazy. They could go along and possibly run the softs in the second race as the day starts to cool down as we get later in the evening, being race start is 8 o'clock.
We've got Gary in. Brilliant. Gary's actually managed to get in, so no need for the restart, so good, yeah.
Yeah, that's good news.
Just to cut you off as well, that's important, because tonight is Gary's 50th appearance if he races both races, so that is a mega one for him.
Yeah, lots of people getting that half century in the last week or so, haven't there? So people who've been with you from the start, so good to see. Yeah, absolutely good to see. So, just going back to the tyres, hard tyres mostly all the way on this one. The softs just can't deal with it. They wear out far too quick, especially on the Merc, so I've been told. My Porsche last night, I had a disastrous round. Anybody who was watching, disastrous first race and an even worse second one. But on my pit stop last night, I was like kind of 3 minutes and 3 laps behind, or 10 minutes and 3 laps behind, whatever it was. So I tried the softs, and as I said, got on just fine with them as the conditions cooled. But I think you'll find it's going to be everyone on the hards tonight.
Yes.
And we've both worked on a bit of experience with putting heat cycles through these tyres. I found that the Porsche needs a couple of laps. The Porsche needs a couple of laps to switch its tyres on anyway. And on the hards, that's a little bit longer. They need a little bit more time to get them in the right position, as we see Little Leach doing a lovely little pirouette and wiping all the cones out. So I think these guys are going to struggle on the first couple of laps on these ones, Matt. Even at the beginning of the race, when they're up to temperature, I think they're going to struggle a couple of laps in.
We'll have to keep our eyes out on that. We've got a 20-minute practice session for these guys to just tweak their final setups. As you all know by now, the format the same as always. 10-minute qualifying coming up before we get into the first of 2 races this evening. Halfway point next week at Zhuhai, where the weather's looking very interesting in a very short grid, maybe on the Wednesday night for the Pro-Am. Kelly could help you out with if you haven't seen, obviously, people who don't see the private group. Dean Wusocki has picked up his second ban of the season, and that's his second lot of points accumulated, meaning he will miss both race 1 and race 2. So Dean Wusocki banned from them too, so he'll be back on the GT5s on Monday, but back in the GT3s the week after next, which I do believe is Silverstone. So he'll miss next week completely. And Alfie as well has picked himself up a qualifying ban due to cutting the chicane in qualifying and gaining 1.5 seconds in one of his final runs, which the admins and I have decided that that will be that. Excuse me.
Yes.
As we're
Still
on board,
struggling with a bit of that cough, aren't you?
Can't shake the cough. Now everything else has gone. I just cannot shake the cough, and it seems to come more late at night than anything else. And it's quite irritating. But nevertheless,
you need to suck a Fishman's friend.
Yeah, definitely do. I'll tell you what else. I've got my COVID jab next week.
Oh, look out.
Straight on that. They've lowered it to 25 to 29-year-olds or whatever it was.
Yeah, that's right.
Text message that day, can you book your COVID jab? Like, bang, next Tuesday. Job done. Me and Beth. So we're getting our first jab. We'll be vaccinated, fully clean as Dan makes way for his teammate. So who have we got on the grid at the minute and tonight? We've got Big Boy Brazier, we've got Disco McDisco Face, D Biggs, Unorthodox, Sutty Apex, Little Leech, Rabbit Joe, Andy, Gary, Peaceful, Welshie and Emo Guy. We are expecting Keegs and Liam running late. Not heard from Keegs. Not sure where Keegs is. We haven't got Monkey Boy and Phil, as we've said, but should have a good 14-car grid. I'm going to run you through the championship standings, if that's all right, Kelly.
Go for it.
I will go for it. Gary then leads the way after a disastrous round for Unorthodox last week. Gained 22 points because of the drop score system. So Dan gaining points, Gary taking a successful double points last week, meaning he leads the title by 41 points. D Biggs is still third, and D Biggs has been solid all season. Not so solid here as he was losing the rear of the car as he goes back to the pits, but he's been solid all season. He's 58 points off the title challenge yet, but not taking his double points. Big boy Brazier, who's coming down the straight now, he's fourth, he's not taking his double points. Little Each P5, Emo Guy 6th, double points taken for him. Peaceful Explosion 7th place, and he says to me off air, I'll take 7th at the minute, because the way he's performed in the Mercedes, he says, isn't relative to 7th place in the title, but he'll be happy with that. Monkey Boy not here tonight. PA Andy then not taking his double points due to the fiasco of last week. We said that if drivers do want to cancel their double points, they could. If they want to take them, that was fine. Andy was one who said, yeah, I'll cancel mine due to the fiasco of last week, so that was fine. He then sits P9. That Bozzy Boy sits in P10, just a point behind Andy, so he'll want to make sure he turns up tonight. Phil then is 11th with Disco after a good debut at Donington Park in the Pro Series, sitting P12. Rabbit Joe then in 13th with Sutty 14th, Welshie in 15th, and Keegs last in 16th place, only on 4 points after he lost all his points when him and Mazda changed his car, and only scored 4 after being here for 1 race last week. So we hope we get Keegs in, and we'll wait and see. Ian Thompson, aka Peaceful Stepdad, good luck tonight everyone. Monkey Boy, come on GQ Motorsport. So it's nice to see Monkey Boy watching the race, and Team Prolapse as well. How the monkey nuts is everyone doing? And Fury's mum's here as well. Matt, did you do my double points for last night? No, because you'd never told me, Nicky. And that was a shame, because you got second and third.
I know what he's doing now. I know what he's on about the message now. So
day late and $1 short.
Yeah, we were chatting about it last night. He was saying, I wish I'd take my double points. I said, just tell Matt that you didn't you get my message? And that's what that's all about. So he's trying it on, bless him.
Bless him, mate. Yep. Well, what a shame for him, because Nicky had a solid night last night with a second and a third. Not as good as Fury, but a solid night nonetheless for himself.
Yeah, absolutely. A very solid night for the Team Prolapse driver. So good points for the team.
Great points for the team. We're seeing Disco here, the BMW, which a lot of people have said throughout the week, the BMW could be mighty around here.
Yeah,
it's looking that way at the minute.
Pro-Am, so
no. Looking mighty though, isn't it? I know it's only a 10th quicker than Big Boy Brazier, but I mean 44.4. That's quick.
That's quick. That is quick. Yeah, that is quick. We're straight to the 44s in this practice session. Are we going to see a 43 in qualifying?
I've seen one in practice. I've seen one in practice, and Dan done it once and hasn't been near it since. And that's probably the way it goes, isn't it? You nail that one. You know the perfect lap that people always talk about. You do the perfect lap. Dan's done that perfect lap, and he can't get nowhere near it again. So we'll see what he's doing. Where is Dan? Dan's a 45.4. So I mean, he's not even near the 44s at the minute. So he's struggling there. What car are we looking?
Sandbagging, to be fair.
Yeah, he might. What car are we looking at, Kelly, tonight as a standout performer for yourself?
Well, we know the Mercs are quick. They were quick last night. Peaceful in this BMW. We didn't see a BMW. We very rarely see this BMW going round. So that's I reckon that's a contender. But probably, I mean, we say this every week, don't we? That the guys driving the Porsches in Pro are a bit handier than the guys driving the Porsches in Pro-Am, including myself, so it's a different game a little bit, isn't it, because I think a lot of the guys, Porsche runners, will be strong. I think Disco will be strong. It'd be nice to see Peaceful towards the sharp end, and Catalunya is a funny old track, isn't it? I mean, They use it for F1 testing, as everyone knows, every year. The reason for that, it's not that far away from home, as it were. And they reckon it's got a bit of everything. You know what I mean? Yeah, I mean, it's got a couple of high speeds. It's got low speeds. It's got straight chicanes. So yeah, will the odds be even? And it would just be down to the driver this evening.
Well, we'll have to wait and see.
I don't know.
The Acura and Ginetta, what do you feel their chances are tonight? Obviously, they're the ones we talk about quite a lot each week. Are they going to struggle on such a top speed circuit? What are they going to do? Nicky said last night the Porsche was better on the infield. The minute it hit the straight, it lost everything to the Merc. That's definitely going to be the case for these two cars. They're both on screen there. Actually, couldn't time that one better. They're both going to lose out to the Merc, the BMW, the Audi, the Porsche in a straight line. But what can they gain after turn 1 and 2?
Well, we will see. I think they're going to struggle. To be honest, I think the Ginettas are going to struggle, and I think the Acura is going to struggle as well. To be fair, that's my kind of thoughts on it. They're both, good handling car. I mean, last night, we don't have a Ferrari in this, and a lot of guys steer away from the Ferrari quite a lot because it's not. It's a solid car, as in it's kind of planted, but it's not particularly good anywhere. But Alfie gave it a damn good run last night, and he was quick, lively with it. Do you know what I mean? With the Ferrari. So yeah, it's a tough one to call on which car. I think
we said this the week before, didn't we, about Dean at Donington in the Pro-Am? If you take all the spins he had out of it, the McLaren looked a quick car around Donington.
Yeah.
But again, like the McLaren and the Ferrari and the Pro-Am, are these two cars just... all right, the Ginetta's got a race win round Spa with Andy at the first race of the season, but if you put these two in the Pro-Am with a consistent driver behind the wheel, they're a good choice to have. You put them in the Pro, you've got a lot of work to do. You feel like you're having to work doubly as hard as the Porsche and Mercedes and Audi drivers to get the best out of the car, whereas you put these two cars in the Pro-Am, you put Sooty Apex in the Acura in the Pro-Am, and I bet Sooty Apex is a front runner in the Acura, totally. Because he's a consistent driver, and as you've seen in the Pro-Am, and you know more than anybody, Kelly, is you've got to be consistent in that group. If you're not consistent, you're going to struggle.
Well, we talked about that off air just a minute ago, didn't we, about consistency and so on and so forth. And that's certainly what I'm trying to do, although, again, don't look back on my race last night because there was no consistency there. A lot of the Pro-Am boys still making mistakes. And it's the lower tier, so that is where you learn your racecraft, isn't it?
Yeah.
So Liam's been there, done it, and Rabbit Joe and a few others, have made that step up to pro and made their racing more consistent. And it's about racecraft, isn't it?
And that is it. At the end of the day, when you've got that racecraft, you can compete with these big boys. While ever you're spinning around 5 times in a race, you're not going to do anything.
It's not good. It's not good. If that was, as I say, Lewis Hamilton doesn't do it. He only goes off once in a race.
Yeah, and that's normally when his brakes have just smoked up to death and overheated him.
There was a bit of a giveaway with that one, though. That would have been the smoke pouring off the wheels before he set off. But hey ho, you would have thought Lewis would have worked that out. But,
I saw a lovely picture the other day of Lewis Hamilton doing that, and it said controller disconnected. Reconnect controller. Like you would in the game if your wheel disconnects and your car goes straight on into the wall. It said that, and I just thought, as a sim racer, that's absolutely brilliant. That is exactly what happens to us in the sim racing world. And it was one of them moments that kind of happened for Lewis. What a race we had, though. Ignore enough about the F1 though. Touring cars this weekend. Snetterton.
Touring car, Let's talk about real racing. The touring cars this weekend. Snetterton, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. Jamie Brazier, Big Boy Brazier, going.
Is he? All right, excellent.
First touring car race with fans. I think they're allowing 4,000 in attendance. And yes, Jamie
loves that place, doesn't he?
He's about half an hour away from it, he said. So Jamie will be there. Snetterton last year. Hopefully he makes it there, because last time we was at Snetterton was last season in the Pro, and Jamie disconnected both races. So hopefully he manages to make it to Snetterton, along with the joke with Dan and Donington last week. Is Dan allowed in, or will he be too corrupt to get in, like his disc was to not let him play the game? We'll have to see if Jamie makes it and doesn't disconnect from watching it live at the track. But first touring car race with fans back, and I've seen a lot of tweets this week from drivers, Shedden and people saying, it's good to get back racing again, but now we've got the fans. It's going to make it that even more special for the drivers. not just as a spectator watching and being allowed to attend there, the drivers must feel this weekend that the crowd are back. We can put on a show now, and there's people here to watch us put on a show.
Let's hope it all goes well. It's going to be hot this weekend as well.
Oh, going to be a scorcher.
Yeah. So we'll see how the touring cars get on with scorchio weather. But again, thoroughly looking forward to it. Do you know what I mean? It's
no Andy Neat?
Anybody who's out there who doesn't follow British touring car, well, you are missing out.
Yeah. Where have you been?
Where have you been?
No Andy Neat for this one as well. Personal reasons missing out. They've got Jess Hawkins, the Aston Martin test driver, and James Bond stunt driver is going to fill the driver. Yeah, another woman, female on the grid, so brilliant to see. Brilliant. Her and Jade.
Absolutely.
And do you know what? I mean, how many people have been critical of Andy Neat? It would be good for her to put on a show in the Ford and Motorbase sort of go, we'll keep her and drop Andy Neat. And you know, Andy, if you're watching, nothing against you as a fella, but you're not the best driver. You know, Gideon Wasaki a chance, see what he's doing.
That was naughty.
Well, hey, if you can't laugh about it, what can you do?
Well, that's it. Yeah. I have no beef with Dean. Just if you're watching Dean, I have no beef. What happened last night happened, you know. So it's all racing. So quickly moving along, let's just jump to the chat and say hello to some of the people in here. Beth's in there. Evening all. Hello Beth. Thank you for your support last night. Fury's granddad didn't disappoint, Kelly, so I'm here too. Good to see you, Tony. And we've got Fury's mum is in. Hello. And Monkey Boy T. And Peaceful Stepdad keeps popping up every now and then. I saw it popping up some of the things last night. Welcome along. Thanks for your support. And Smithy Smith, which I presume is Smithy from Pro-Am.
Smithy from Pro-Am, yeah.
Evening, Smithy, and welcome along. So, lots of guys. 21 people watching. 16 likes. 17. So I've just pressed my button now. Got a good to hear from you. If you've got questions, something you want to hear, we've said it before. We said it last week, actually. Between me and Matt, we know absolutely everything. So if I don't know it, Matt doesn't know it. And if both of us don't know it, we can Google it. So if you want to ask us some questions, this was a really popular feature last week. We had none. So if you want to ask us a question, please feel free. We'll do our very best to answer it.
We will indeed. Practice completed. Andy, the man who's taken the quickest time by 0.2 of a second here, a 44.200 from Andy. Then, what can he do tonight? The Ginetta obviously managing to make up a lot of time, you'd imagine, on that infield. Disco in P2. Jamie currently third. He's still on a lap, so we'll see if Jamie can improve anywhere. But it's only practice. This doesn't really mean for anything. Doesn't really count for anything. It's just last-minute preparations. The 10-minute qualifying starts in just a moment, in which I will let Kelly take you through it, because I have got to run to make a quick toilet break.
Right.
I will get the next session underway, and I'll let Kelly talk you through the qualifying session. The start of the qualifying session.
The pressure.
Yeah, I'm sure you can handle it, Kelly. If anybody can handle it, Kelly, it's you.
Yeah.
A lot of people coming to go. Now, one man, Kelly, every week we see in practice not do so well. Is that man in P11? And then all of a sudden in qualifying, bang, he's up the top sharp end of the grid. Do we think he's doing the same tonight?
What are you saying? That he's sandbagging?
Massively so. I think he's been to B&Q, filled them up. Come on, lads, fill the boot up. And then at the end of this practice session, when the mechanics pull the car into the garage, there's just like a little bathtub plug at the bottom of the car. It'll just release a little cork underneath. They'll release it, and it'll all just come pouring out. As that's the session over.
Yeah. Well, we will say. As I say, this is practice. I'm saying that we're going to see a 1:43 in qualifying, and I mean, stellar job from Andy. There was me saying that the Ginetta's going to struggle tonight, but they might not. So we will see. Time will tell. We'll tell all.
Time will tell. I'm just going to pop for that toilet break. Kelly, if you want to talk us through the first part of qualifying.
Yeah. Yeah, no problem. So we're into qualifying. 10-minute session. It's a slightly reduced session this season, which is great. So you can see the action happens immediately as they get on track because they got to get out there and get on with it. So 10-minute session, and which will determine the grid for the first race this evening. Then we'll have the top. How many we got in? 12. We'll have the top 6. Won't be able to qualify for the second race. So they'll be in a random grid from 6 downwards, if you don't already know the format. And again, so looking back at the chat, still plenty of chat. Beth in there again, Team Prolapse, all good stuff. You're watching Welshie. We haven't seen much of Welshie so far in the Porsche this evening, so we'll see what he can do with that. I found this track quite twitchy. It's probably a lot about the heat. It's proper Spanish weather this evening, so the track is very warm. The air temperature is very warm, and these guys will all be on hards this evening to try and make these cars work. So, who else we got? Jamie Brazier. They're all on outlaps at the moment, so everyone out on the track except Sooty Apex. Welshie with a penalty already. What's he got that for? Now I can have a look on the timings, and 1 grid place penalty. Now I don't know what he got that for. Probably speeding on the way out of the pit lane. So so Welshie starts with a penalty, 1 grid place. We'll see what that does for him. So Peaceful back in the pits. I don't know why. Gary, as you can see on track, he's about halfway round. So who's ready to start a lap? Should we go? I'll tell you what we'll do. We'll go on board with Disco, who seems to be who's in traffic already. There we go. Right, so down the main straight, looks like we've got Dan or D Biggs in front. I don't know which one, but they're right in front there, making a use of the slipstream. And that's going to be no good to him when he gets to turn 1 because the car's going to be in the way. Brake just before the 100-metre board. Tricky first turn that is. That was a line, Disco. Right up on the curb. Tricky turn 1. Easy for the back end to skip out and spin it round. 2 is a bit of nothing. Come out wide and then tuck into the apex on 3. It's a long, long corner and not flat, so you're kind of balancing it through. Up to the bridge, brake where the bridge is, and down a couple of gears, tuck it into the apex. Again, easy for the back end to start to get away from you slightly. Going downhill off camber, drop down a couple of gears, down into 2nd gear. Hug the apex, try not to run it out too wide. It will run wide. Let it go, but not too far. This is a tricky little uphill chicane. Don't touch the curb on the right. Tuck it into the apex. Don't run out wide like the Porsche that we've just seen in front of us. Nail it all the way up the hill. Now a little lift up here. Down a gear, some people, not others. Let it run right out to the curb and onto the green stuff. Brilliant. Come across to the right-hand side. The big hairpin stop now. This has changed for the GP. The MotoGP demanded a change on this. So this is a changed corner, but we're still running the old format. Through another chicane. This is Martin Brundle says this is a hurry up and wait corner. Again, it goes on forever. You just want to get on the power, but you can't. The last chicane, still reasonably new. A lot of Formula 1 drivers say this is a bit Mickey Mouse. Through the last chicane and nail it on the exit. You can take the last turn absolutely flat out. Get as much traction as you can off that corner, so as much pace down the main straight and across the line. And that is a lap of Catalunya, with D Biggs currently the fastest man on a 44.7 as we speak. But that will change, no doubt.
That will probably change. Good lap, though, from good banker lap, should I say. Team Prolapse, hey, Nicky in that one. Matt Kelly, can you wish my daughter Ruby a happy birthday, please? Well, Ruby, happy birthday. Yeah. Hope you've had a great day.
Should we sing?
Hope your dad spoiled you.
Happy birthday?
Hey, we can do if you want to.
Yeah, go on then.
I'll let you start.
Happy birthday. All right, what's her name?
Ruby, it says in the chat.
Oh, Ruby, got it, right, right, okay, Happy birthday to you. In time would be great. Happy birthday to you. Good God, glad it's saying X Factor. Happy birthday, dear Ruby, from us at Simplay. Happy birthday to you.
There you go.
God, I bet you wish you didn't ask now, didn't you?
Hey, we'll have to start charging for this soon, Kelly.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. We're available for weddings, christenings, bar mitzvahs, all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Peaceful Stepdad, aka Ian Thompson. My week isn't complete unless I have supported you guys. Oh, well, thank you very much. And Killian in the chat, Kelly, I'd like to inform you that Dan says if he got 25 likes on his stream, he's going to shave his beard. He got the 25 likes.
Oh.
What are you doing watching Dan's stream? You don't get to listen to Sweet and Sticky, eh?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, you know.
Oh, Liam's
crazy.
in. Liam's just got
here.
himself
Yay.
here. So we are
Yeah.
only missing Keegs from tonight. Liam's got himself in. What a guy. What a guy. Hopefully he can get in
What a
4 minutes
legend.
left to qualify, and he will get one last little run in. Do you want some qualifying statistics, Kelly? I know you love a good stat.
I love some of your stats.
Love them. The best average qualifying, bar Disco McDisco face who only has one race, so we're not going to go off of him at the minute, is P4, and that is for... Who is it for? It's for Mazda, but Mazda don't really count because he's not here anymore, so let's get rid of them ones, because them ones aren't going to count. So then, the best qualifying of P4 is for Gary 131, Andy, and Big Boy Brazier, also on a P4 qualifying. The worst two qualifiers are Rabbit Joe and Welshie with an average of 13th. Well, now Liam's turned up. One of them could get 13th, although Rabbit Joe is currently P5, so that will do his Q1 performance the world of good here. Liam's in the session, and Jamie is on a 44 dead. So Big Boy Brazier, with an average qualifying of 4th place, one pole position to his name this year, has laid the benchmark for these guys and is going to make it interesting for these boys to do. Anybody in particular you want to know who's got an average qualifying place?
Gary, do you say Gary? You said Gary already,
Gary
haven't you,
averages
before?
P4 for 3 pole positions this season as well, all in Q1.
Yeah.
Sorry, 2 in Q1, 1 in Q2.
What about dear Liam? What's his qualifying
Liam
average?
in Q1,
Yeah.
he's a better Q2. Oh, he's disconnected. Hopefully he gets himself back in. He averages P10 in Q1, but is averaging P4 in qualifying 2. So Liam, a bit more of a Q2 specialist on the reverse grid. He actually has the best average qualifying for Q2, does Liam. The man we're on now, on Orthodubs, he averages P7 after he got a qualifying ban the other week. Really ruined his chances here. After a 4th and a 3rd, then a 14th. Obviously didn't get a qualifier last week, so that kind of ruined his chances there. We've got 4 drivers in the 44s at the moment: Andy Little, D Biggs, and Big Boy Brazier. And I said to you, Kelly, is Gary sandbagging? I'm not so sure.
Yeah, he doesn't seem to have a lot of pace right now, does he? With only a couple of minutes to go. So yeah,
I know
we'll
one man who'll be absolutely licking his lips and rubbing his hands at that one. That'll be Sooty Apex. He not only is going to out-qualify Gary on the wheel, but in the Acora. So he'll take that and he'll be rubbing his hands together with that one if I know Sooty. My ears are bleeding, says Fury's granddad.
Yeah,
brilliant,
I just
thanks.
read that one.
Brilliant, thanks. That's made her day, apparently, says Nikki. So you're welcome. Anytime.
Well, there you go. There's one person happy with it. Yeah.
It's mine and Dan's birthday soon, so do we get a happy birthday sang for us? No, you're too old, Beth. Get a grip.
Yeah. Well, if Daniel shaves his beard, to be fair, he'll look about 12. So we'll have
to do
a
that
birthday party.
Although
Yeah.
Dan, I think
we'll have a birthday
has,
party with a little cake and everything.
Dan asked last night if he could join me and Liam on commentary on the 30th of June, so I gladly obliged to that and said yes. And
what day is it? Not
that's a Wednesday, so he'll get to commentate on you on his birthday.
Oh, he'll get to commentate on me.
Yeah.
I'll drag him out a birthday win on that day. As he goes second with a 44.3, he'll be happier with that.
He will be happier with that. He'll be happier if he was 3/10 closer to Big Boy Brazier, though. And then
he would be.
It's Beth's birthday for the pro, so we'll get to commentate for Beth and sing for Beth. I will get everyone at Team Prolapse and Team Prolacid to sing happy birthday for you, Beth. There you go, Beth. Team Prolapse are going to sing you a happy birthday.
That's a lot of people now.
Yeah,
that's like the Vienna male voice choir. That is.
The numbers are going up dramatically on that one, so
really quickly this week, funnily enough.
I don't know if we're going to get Liam in. He's got 30 seconds. I don't know if he's going to get in. What a shame. Yeah, he might miss this one. What a shame for Liam. He's just got back in time and it's not worked. Maybe he's loaded it up on the pad, not the wheel. Gary's in the pit, so he's going to start P11. Welshie in the pits is going to start P12. Gary, P11. Wow, that's a shocker. That's a turn up for the books, isn't it?
Yeah, that throws things up a bit, doesn't it?
Oh, doesn't it just?
Sure.
That's knocked his average qualifying down to P6 now in race 1, so not good from Gary. We're watching Jamie at the minute. Joe Lidleach and Andy are all done.
That's probably not what he's disappointed about right now, is his qualifying average. It's probably more disappointed that he's right at the back.
Well, Gary misses next week. He's on holiday next week, so misses Zoo High. And with the weather around, I can't blame him, to be fair. It looks a bit thunderstormy for next week. But
oh, no, I'll bring it on. Bring it on.
We'll have to keep our eyes on the weather as it comes and goes. Jamie Brazier, then, currently the man setting the pace, will be the first man, or the second man, I do believe, to finish qualifying. Peaceful's pitted. He's only P9. Brazier across the line doesn't improve, so provisional
doesn't improve.
pole. Dan's crossing the line, no improvement for Dan.
Doesn't improve.
I don't think many people are going to beat Jamie's time. Joe, wow, what a shout out for Rabbit Joe. I've only just noticed P3.
Yeah. Oh,
D Biggs is pitted. Sooty's in the pits. Emo Guy is coming round to finish lap. He will be the last man to finish his lap then. So what a job from Rabbit Joe. I didn't even give that one a mention. A P3 on the Pro. Stellar performance. That qualifying D Biggs and Little Leach
and
Gary.
only half a second off the ultimate pace.
Indeed.
So
what can Emo Guy do here? That 2.8 currently off the pace. Can he improve his lap anymore? Coming across the line. Don't think he did.
Does he? Doesn't he? Don't know.
We'll have to keep our eyes out in just a moment.
Yeah,
he did. He went
we
P8 in the end. Just demoting Sooty and Peaceful down a place then. And that is your qualifying one done. Big boy Brazier setting that pace. Not the 43s that we expected, but Jamie on pole nevertheless. Unorthodox second from Rabbit Joe. What a qualifying session for the... excuse me. For the Rabbit. D Biggs P4. Little Leach in 5th. Disco 6th. Andy 7th. Emo Guy 8th. Sooty 9th. Peaceful in 10th. Gary, probably the other shock of the night for the other reasons. Down in P11 and Welshie down in 12th place with the grid penalty, but Liam didn't get in. So he will not serve that grid penalty as there's no one to be passed by.
Yes, indeed. So they line up on the grid. They do their final bits of setup as they ready up. Just going back to chat. Bethany saying, thank you. My husband is not very nice to me. I will appreciate it. Oh, is he that bad? Is he that bad, Beth? Really?
I'm a delight. I'm an absolute
I think it cuts both ways, don't you?
Yeah. I'm an absolute delight.
My Hayley's looking at me as to say, you're just winding things up, aren't you? You know, you're just a wind-up merchant.
Got that big wooden spoon from kitchen, ain't you, Kelly? And you're just stirring it up a little bit.
Yeah, absolutely. Team Prolapse saying, come on, Dan. Yeah, I'll echo that one as well. Team Prolapse on the front row of the grid. Not running his Team Prolapse here, running his shake and bake with his teammate D Biggs. So, both lining up, line astern each other for second and fourth. So let's see what they can do. Leachy Legends has got Little Leach is holding holding it all together. But then saying that, Matt, you know what I mean? 11th, we saw Gary come through the field last week. Do you know what I mean? You know, starting at the back of the grid isn't that much of a disability as it is as you think with sim racing, because all kinds of things happen.
I think the things around here, Kelly, especially with them tyres, is that's going to be the real key tonight, is seeing the tyres. Gary is not out of this one. Neither's Peaceful or Sooty with the tyres the way they are, but it looks like we're synced up and it looks like we're ready to go. Gary then on for his 50th start tonight. If he starts in race 2, we're away here. And what a start from Jamie. Dan got a bit bogged down and has already lost out to Rabbit Joe. They're coming down towards turn 1 and Disco looks like he's got a great run as well. Can't get done the two shake and bake porches in, but here comes Rabbit Joe to go round the outside of Jamie into turn 1. He's gone a bit deep though, and we'll lose that place. Here goes Dan then to get back at Rabbit Joe, and through he goes. Job done. So Joe then getting the start but messing it all up in the first corner.
Yeah, went in too deep on that first corner and it cost him a couple of places because he was definitely the quickest starter out of that lot. He's left Jamie off the hook and Dan's come back to where he was. And look at Little Leach as well, having a crack at D Biggs already. Gary up 7th already on that start. So don't count him out at all. He's absolutely flying and up to 6th. Now Disco going backwards a little bit. They're in close company, Gary and Disco, as clean start from everyone. No spinners, so good
I'm not sure. Where's Welshie? He looks a bit off the pack. Oh, as you say, no spinners. There is one of the spinners. That's Andy, who's lost the rear of the car. Oh, Welshie's just come round there, so Welshie's not had the best of getaways in the first lap. Oh, wow, Disco is very... Where is he? Oh, wow.
Where's he going?
He's taking the extended part of the circuit.
Back to Donny, I think.
Well, yeah, that's an interesting line from Disco McDisco Face there, but he's gone out wide. That's promoted Gary another spot. Joe's fighting here. Look in the background against Little Leach there. Just having a little bit of a look at him, but couldn't get through. Jamie, though, at the minute, leading this race all well and good so far. But it is Jamie from Dan, D Biggs, Little Leach, Rabbit Joe, Gary. Cracking opening lap from Gary.
Yeah, absolute beauty. And, I mean, he's straight on the back of a Rabbit. Rabbit's probably going to be looking in his mirrors more than he's looking forward, because he's got Gary's going to fill up his mirrors really, really quickly. So it's an Audi out in front, and then all Porsches all the way back, right back to 7th place, which is Emo Guy in the Ginetta, who's also had a really good start, to be fair, because he was towards the back end with that Ginetta, so he's going forward with it. So good, as I say, a couple of little spins there halfway around the lap. A couple of people had a little bit of shock. Andy's gone backwards. Disco's now gone backwards as well. So, all in all, a great start for the Porsches.
Great start for the Porsches. Even better start, though, for the Audi after what we thought Joe could have done. Jamie just outbraked himself a little bit into turn 1, but he's still up in P5 here, is Rabbit Joe. Really having a strong race. And I'll tell you what, he is hassling the back of Little Leach at the moment, Kelly. He's not dropping off the back of Craig and letting the Porsche get away. And he's not really being caught by Gary either. He was 2 seconds quicker than Gary. So Rabbit Joe here, don't get that line there, just touching the gravel, loses a bit of time through there. That'll allow Gary on the back of him. But Joe at the minute driving a cracking opening couple of laps here.
Yes, indeed. I mean, Gary had a cracking good start, but he's not bothering the back of Joe just yet, not as much as Joe's bothering the back of Little Leach, and Little Leach is bothering the back of D Biggs. So Jamie just pulled a second away in front now, so looks like he's controlling this race. He's not under too much pressure. And again, I mean, if the guys are going along the kind of lines of the things that I found, they'll be just getting these tyres where they want to get them before they push any harder. Yeah. You know, just getting those tyres into the right temperature zone so they can push a bit harder. It's all a little bit twitchy to start with, but they're starting to gap each other a little bit now.
They are just a little bit. Also starting to get a bit strung out here. Dan is ahead of his teammate D Biggs. What has happened to Joe? He's dropped down to P8. Gary's got past. So has Sutty and Disco. So has Joe lost it on his own somewhere? Because he was in kind of no man's land just behind Little Leach, but well in front of Gary. So he must have dropped it somewhere. Joe dropping down then to P8 in this one. Not what you want to see for him, unfortunately. But I'm sure he'll try and...
He was going so well.
He was going so well. I'm sure he'll try and get back on the back of there. Sutty doing a good job from by the back of the grid up into 7th place on the back of Disco as well. Not really being dropped by that BMW. Can Sutty then get himself on the back of that BMW on this part of the track? Round the corner, see, Akora isn't too bad compared to everything else. Oh, Joe again. Oh, very sidely. Oh, wow.
That was a big one.
Huge incident. The tyre wall just sticking out there. And that has really ruined Joe's race. He's got 3 laps until the pit window. And that is some serious damage on the front of that Porsche.
Yeah, I feel your pain, Joe. I really do. I really do feel your pain. So, it's terrible. So gutting that he was doing so well. You know, nose in front in the first corner, and it ends up like this. What a shame. What a shame.
Indeed, it is to be a shame. But I'm sure he'll repair that and have a better second outing if he has to qualify again. He's qualified strong here, so don't take anything away from pole here. But look at Little Leach on the back of D Biggs.
Oh, we're going to have a look. Ooh. He's always going to get your nose cut off on that one, I think. So, yeah, just puts his nose up beside D Biggs. But I say a little optimistic if he thought you were going to go round there. But he's certainly, certainly getting back on it. Andy, he was right at the back, had a spin early doors. Yeah. He's dragging himself back up and sticking with Disco there at the moment. We're interested to see
what's happened with Disco, because Sutty was behind him at the beginning of this lap, and now Sutty's well in front of him, and Andy's on the back of Disco with Disco Face. Yeah. So I wonder if Disco's had a problem. I wonder if people are just struggling. The tyres are starting to get a bit warm and overheating already.
I think so, or not quite in the zone. I think Disco just seems to be struggling as Andy went very deep there. Very deep. He's going to have to give that one back, which he dutifully does, yes. Or just about. As they go side by side round turn 3. And, I don't know if Disco's just struggling on those on setup or whatever, but they're still going side by side.
It's like driving in unison, this, isn't it?
Yeah. Well, yeah. I've never been to Unison, but I'm sure it's nice driving there. Look, Disco given plenty of space, and still they go side by side. That's an interesting area to go side by side. And Disco finally, Andy's conceded to Palace, and we'll go at him again, no doubt, later in the lap, as we see Little Leach having a crack at D Biggs. He's going to try and do him into the hairpin round the outside. Again, that's brave, and D Biggs is always going to run you to the outside. Oh, but Little Leach, they get back, switches back, but Little Leach has got the inside. D Biggs has got the inside for the next corner, and has track position back again. But
lovely little switch back there from Little Leach coming off the hairpin. He seemed to just break that little bit heavier, get that cut back, but it'd probably be better hanging it round the outside. D Biggs, though, defending heavily at the moment and doing the job he needs to do.
Absolutely. Just quickly back to the chat. Beth saying you can take him if you like, Kelly. He comes with 2 kids, though. No, I'll pass on that one, Beth. Thank you. I get more than enough of Matt. Thank you. And so Team Pro Laps. In the charts, the only one who's surprised with the Audi. Yeah, Audi doing well.
Because we've seen Don in the Pro-Am when we've said on a Thursday now how well the Audi's done. We've seen Don on a Wednesday night look good in his Audi, but he seemed to struggle a little bit last night in the Audi. It didn't seem to get the best out of it. Got a pair of 6 places, so I mean it's not bad, but the pace of Jamie in this Audi at the minute is the only one in the 45s last lap, so incredible pace at the minute from Jamie Brazier, really setting it. He's gone from Dan, and Dan's kind of gone from D Biggs, while D Biggs heavily defends from Little Leach. Gary is my disappointment at the moment, just not got anything.
Yeah, I mean, he Rabbit Joe, we think, dropped it, but look, he's still quite a way off Little Leach, isn't he, his brother? So you would think they share setups and tips and so on.
I can tell you from previous experience, Craig finds Gary's setups too slidey, too loose for his own liking. So
I understand what he's saying, and I've had the same said to me, you must run Dan's setups and all the rest of it. I find Dan's setups far too loose, and far too back end happy, and I can't live with that. Do you know what I mean? So I can see where they're coming from for sure.
Interesting to know about that one. Where are we? Just looking, Andy, Disco. Yeah, that's probably the closest battle on the track, isn't it? They're gaining on Sutty a little bit as well over this lap. There is Sutty in front. Sutty do top job at the minute, P6. Joe in the chat, I think I pushed my tyres too hard early on. Huge damage. So maybe he's just gone that bit too hard. And that... Andy! Wow! Huge Andy. Snap there from Andy into the wall. That is a hard hit for him. That was
unusual, wasn't it?
It seemed to snap on the exit, didn't it? The rear end just seemed to step out a little bit, and it snapped him into the wall. Luckily for him, though, is if he gets that back going, the pit window has opened, so he can pit at the end of the lap he's currently on, because the pit window opens on lap 6. Peaceful and Rabbit Joe have been in the pits. They've got to pit again. But wow, a huge snap there from Andy, and that's put him in the wall. That's allowed Disco to have a breather and hunt down Sutty Apex, and who was only 2 seconds off the back of Gary. He's not anymore. This the best fight now on track, as Little Leach again, coming down to the same section we've just seen them at, is having a look at D Biggs. Just having a look up inside there, maybe just later on the brakes than D Biggs into that part of the track. Jamie's still in the 45s. I tell you what, if Jamie's doing that and managing his tyres, then he's doing some outstanding pace at the moment, isn't he? He's doing something right. Little Leach then pushing hard, and is he going to look to the inside? A late lunge. He's having a look. He's going to go for it, and D Biggs just gives him enough space.
Just sees him,
Wow, as they stay side by side here, and Little Leach yields.
Yeah. I don't know if D Biggs didn't see him until the last minute, because he came across and then he seemed to give him room.
Yeah, he did, as he ran a little wide there coming through the S's. But that's not going to hurt him. He can kind of make an error there without it hurting you too much, unless they're going to get the move done before this chicane. Round they go. Monkey Boy, who's your money on for the touring cars this weekend? Shedden. D Biggs then, before we get back to that one, sorry, D Biggs has decided to pull that one into the pits at the end of lap 6.
Sutton.
Round Snet?
Yeah. He's good everywhere, isn't he? He's good everywhere.
He's aggressive everywhere. Gary as well has jumped himself into the pits there then. So Gary in at the end of lap 6. I think Shedden this week, or Jake Hill. Or in fact, no, do you know what? Shedden, Jake Hill or Josh Cook?
I was going to say Josh Cook. I was just about to say Josh Cook. Don't write out Ingram either. Yeah. There's so many quality race drivers in touring cars that take your pick.
Oh, sorry.
Apologies.
D Biggs didn't pit. It was Dan who went into the pits.
Right,
and Emo
okay.
Guy has pitted as well. I thought it was D Biggs, but it was D Biggs going ahead of Dan that put me off there. So Dan was in the pits. D Biggs has now gone second.
In and out.
Yeah. Pitted as well. So is Emo Guy. Emo Guy currently losing out to Welshie. Hopefully Emo Guy can get out before Andy gets round. I don't think he has, because Andy will be suffering with a bit of damage on the front of his car. Where is Emo?
Doesn't show us the
pits.
pits.
It's not very good until he gets pitted. Andy's in the pits, but he's got a 10-second penalty. He's spared in the pit lane. So his race has gone for... And the worst thing is Emo Guy's still in the box.
So he won't be able to pit. Look, yeah,
it's going to make him do a drive-through. If we go on board...
Yeah.
Oh
he's
no.
Stack.
Oh, they are... Oh, no, because, yes... These guys are running the manual pit stop, so these guys can stack. Hopefully that does work for them. So, yeah, these guys stacking here. Andy with a time penalty as well. This is getting worse for Andy at the minute. Jason Plato says, Ian Thompson. Ian, I thought...
That wasn't Jason Plato, then. No, Andy's decided to go on. No, there we go.
No.
How did that work?
No, what's happening here? I'm not sure what's happening here. Andy's still moving and Emo Guy's in the pit, so not sure what has happened there. D Biggs is now coming into the pits. That one definitely says D Biggs this time around. He is in, so I'm not sure what's happened with Andy there. He's lost a lot of time in the pit lane. Who else is coming in? Sooty Apex. Wow, D
that
Biggs.
Was quick. That was super quick.
Has he hired the Red Bull crew?
Yeah, well, they must both have, because Dan was in really quick and out really quick, wasn't they?
Miguel Grandon, great battle between the two Porsches. That would be D Biggs and Little Each at the time before the round of pit stops. Here is Dan. Can he jump D Biggs? No. Wow.
Wow, yeah. Well, Dan had a scruffy lap.
157. Let's see what Gary's is, because Gary pitted the same lap as Dan. Go now, 157. So by all means, that's a decent outlap.
Maybe Dan didn't have a quick as lap as he goes deep into turn one. Maybe he just didn't have a great pit stop like D Biggs did, because that was Formula One-esque, wasn't it?
That was stellar from D Biggs, and he's managed to jump on orthodubs. And I tell you what, if Little Each has got the stream on in his while he's racing, he needs a pit stop like that to come out just on the back of D Biggs, because that's how good that pit stop was. Although with Little Each in clear air, he's been on the back of D Biggs. Can he now pump them lap times in to maybe jump in by going that little bit longer? Gary's pitted, so Craig's not got to worry about Gary anymore. Gary is pitted. So Craig, can he go longer and do them laps that would pull him away from D Biggs? We'll have to keep our eyes on the timing screen.
Yes, indeed, we certainly will. So this will hot up between the Porsche. Jamie Brazier still out in front and is gone.
Yeah.
He's driving a cracking good race in that Audi. So I think it's going to be about the existing or the remaining podium positions is going to be the fight for this evening. As Little Leach goes round again, he chooses not to pit. You can do it any time between now and lap 17. Again, if you're new. Yeah, and again, if you're new to this, you don't have to do anything in the pits. We do run with damage, and the tyres do wear out, but you're not obliged in the mandatory pit stop to do anything. You don't have to do tyres, you don't have to do damage or fuel or whatever. You just have to be in, stop, and be out, which most guys do, because normally the mechanics are completely useless at doing anything that takes
They've not been
work.
recently, though, because, I mean, Donington, you said last week, I remember a comment you said, did Donington have a faster pit crew than any other track? Because they seemed really on it.
Yeah.
Well,
yeah,
here,
they seem to be very
here they
quick.
seem to be on it if you're the shake and bake crew anyway.
Yeah, absolutely. So, certainly worked out for D Biggs. So
Andy's in. Andy's lost all that time and he's back into the pits then at the end of lap 8.
Just turning into an absolute disaster for Andy, isn't
Welsh
it?
is in as well.
Yeah. And as I say, we don't have a very good camera view of the. Obviously, they at Catalunya they don't have that many cameramen because they haven't got any in the pits whatsoever. So
no pitmen in the pits, it's cameramen in the pits. This man though, no teammate to worry about pitting as we've not got Liam in for this first race. Excuse me, but Jamie's he's not put a foot wrong, has he, in this race?
No, I mean apart from having, and he goes into the pits now. Apart from apart from Rabbit Joe having half a car in front of him for about 3 seconds, he's led this race from lights to flag so far, or lights to pit stop anyway. Andy's still in the pits as well, as is Welshie.
Yeah.
Sorry, is in the pits as well. So Little Leach leads this race at the moment, but of course he hasn't stopped.
Interesting thing here is how close is D Biggs going to get to Big Boy Brazier after D Biggs' fantastic stop. Disco's come into the pits as well, so he's in. So let's see where D Biggs is in relation to Jamie. Jamie's still in that pit lane and is coming to the exit now. D Biggs on the track map looks like he's at the final corner. So he may have gained a bit of time, but nothing massive.
No.
So interesting to see D Biggs though jumping Dan.
Yeah.
I mean his stop was fantastic. Dan lapping Andy.
Yeah.
Interesting, says Maze Gamer. That's Emo Guy. Andy's in the pits.
Yes, indeed. Andy having an absolute shocker with some damage, and then having to stack behind his teammate who was serving. Had a lot of damage being repaired as well. So it's all turned pretty badly for Andy. So not the night he would have wanted. Let's see if he comes back. Of course, if he the top 6, what are we? 12 runners this evening. So top 6 of this race can't qualify for the next one, so they end up being a random grid from 6 downwards. So Andy's pace was good, so he's got a good crack at a good qualifying position in the second race. So it could all get better for him.
Indeed it can. Peaceful Stepdad in the chat, 21 likes. Come on guys, we can do better than that. Indeed we can. Get that thumbs up on the video, get as many likes as we can before the end of the first race especially.
Have we got 1 thumbs down?
I don't know, it says 21 likes on the stream. I don't know if we've got 1 thumbs down.
On mine it's got 1 for a thumbs down.
Oh, that's terrible. Whoever's put the thumbs down,
that's not good.
Amend it and put a thumbs up. No, exactly. Amend it and put a thumbs up.
Either that or go and watch something else.
Yeah,
if you don't like it.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, work hard to make this as brilliant as we do.
Yeah, we do. Peaceful's in the pits. Not seen much of Peaceful tonight, but he's in the pits at the end of lap 10. Little Leach still leading from Jamie, from D Biggs. That gap between Jamie and D Biggs is only 5 seconds though at the moment. So D Biggs did claw some time back and is running a good pace at the minute, but being caught a little bit by Dan and Gary on the last lap. So it'll be interesting to see what Dan and Gary can do.
Yeah, all quite spread out now. There are no real battles on track at the moment. So the interesting thing is where Little Leach is going to end up after his pit stop. And is he going to go long? Is he going to go... I mean, I like going long because I like the tyres. I don't like the tyres cooling off while I'm in the pits. So by choice, that's the way I like to do things. But what will Little Leach do? Will he go long or, is he in clean air? Where is he on? Yes,
Little Leach has got his
clean air.
Miles in clean air, isn't he? But I mean, D Biggs, that was a second quicker last lap. So if he wants to get on it to get around D Biggs in terms of the pit stop, he's got to start matching the pace, if not improving on the pace of what D Biggs is doing. We'll have to keep our eyes on this one though. It's a good little battle. Who is that left to pit? Joe's got to re-pit, and just Little Leach is to pit. So Little Leach and Joe having to re-pit Joe pitting before the mandatory stop then. So we'll have to see if these guys can redo it.
So we go on board with Little Leach currently leading. As we said, he's got to take a pit stop. Look at the weather. Look, hey, not a cloud in the sky.
Beautiful, isn't it?
In sunny Spain. I feel there's a song in there as well, but I'm not going to sing for a second time this evening. In the chat, Kieran Argent, looks like Andy got the dreaded no progress countdown. Hence he couldn't wait for Emo Guy. That would make sense, wouldn't it?
It would. So you get a countdown from 20 seconds if you're not making sufficient progress on track, meaning you're not moving forward enough, but it will automatically retire you according to the game, which, it sucks a little bit, and maybe that's why Andy had to wait. But I mean, Emo was still in the pits a long time after Andy had left, so it is a shame. 21 people watching, 20 likes. Guys, let's hit that thumbs up button, subscribe if you are new to the channel as well. Really helps the channel get some more content out. Join us Monday night for GT5's round 2 at Donington Park. That'll be broadcast live by Jamie and Liam, so come and give your support to them too.
See the legend that is Matt Duffin in action in the car.
Thank you.
He talks enough about it. It's nice to see him in the car.
It's good to be back in a car and racing competitively. That's all I can say is I've missed it. I've really missed it, and it was nice to get back out there on Monday. Racing against like a Little Leach and Dan and D Biggs, who are quick guys. It was brilliant to get them out there.
Good stuff indeed.
Tony in the chat, thank God for that, Kelly. I'm only assuming that's in relation to you not singing again.
Yeah, not singing again. Don't come round when there's karaoke on.
Yeah. Dean Wasocki in the chat. Hi all, he says. Hit that thumbs up button, Dean, if you've only just joined us.
Yeah.
Push the thumbs up button. Don't hit it. Push it.
The thumbs up. Yeah.
Just jokes.
Yeah, push it.
You got to laugh about it now. You can't. There's no point, worrying what's happened in the past. We've all got to laugh about it. 12 drivers in this one. Then we didn't get Liam in, and Little Each and Joe still to pit. Highlights of the race for those who's missed it. Joe got a cracking start after a great qualifying. It went all wrong at turn 1. Then it went wrong a few laps later. This man's led ever since Jamie's pitted, and he's in a fight. Although I tell you what, he's lapping around just a bit quicker than D-Biggs at the minute. Dan was 8/10 quicker than Biggs as well. As Biggs made a few mistakes here because he was 24 seconds off the back of Little Each. He's now 26. I wonder if Little Each is just starting to creep ahead, and I wonder if Biggs has pitted when his tyres may be at the worst and has not realised. Keep pushing with them, and they'll come back to you.
Yeah, maybe. We don't see all the action all the time. So yeah, he could have had a couple of little half spins. A couple of little corrections will start to ruin your lap times really quickly. So yeah, maybe that's the case. Doesn't make too many mistakes, does D Biggs, does he? He's very, very consistent. But
what he has been consistent with this season is, I'm just looking at the stats page I've got here, podiums in every race bar Hockenheim Race 2 and Daytona Race 2. His lowest finish is 6th. He's not yet been on the top step, but 2nd, 3rd, 3rd, 5th, 2nd, 6th, 3rd, 2nd. Podium again at the minute. That's the form you make a championship out of, isn't it?
Absolutely. You don't need to be the quickest guy, and you don't need to win everything. You just need to be there and be consistent.
Keep it on the track, keep it high up in a good position every week, and you'll find that it starts to come to you.
It just comes to you, absolutely.
Now, I wonder if Craig's made a little error this lap, because D-Biggs has caught him a bit, so has Jamie. Although Dan's now lapping in the 45s. He was a second quicker than D-Biggs on the last lap, so is Dan starting to comfort his teammate here?
Maybe so. And when he gets there, is it going to be, have they made an agreement? Is there team orders, as it were?
This will be the one to find out, won't it? Especially after Dan's horrible race last week at Donington Park, where it corrupted his game, and he didn't manage. I mean, he scored 22 points because of the way the drop score works, but he obviously would have liked to have scored a lot more than that in terms of the race. Welshie and Emo Guy having a little bit of a battle as they're being lapped here. Emo Guy trying to pass Welshie, but the pace of the Porsches, look at the Porsche power down the straight compared to that Ginetta, and Welshie able to keep Emo Guy behind him. And nice to see Welshie's car intact tonight. You see Welshie sometimes just out, as he's made a mistake turn 2. Welshie at times just seems to be a bit inconsistent and struggling in that pro group. He's admitted he's trying to get used to the wheel, work's busy for him, so he's not able to be on and practice as much as he wants to. But it's nice to see his car intact, nice to see him up there. Top 10 as well for Welshie. I know there's only 12 drivers, but he'll be pleased with this one. Dean, hope all is well with both of you. Yeah, good here.
Yeah, everything's fine.
Joe in the pits, end of lap 13. Welshie is a lap down, Dan has unlapped him, and Dan last time around was 7/10 quicker than D Biggs. So we'll have to keep our eyes on this battle forming then. Yeah. So based off the top 6 at the minute, Sutty, Emo, Welshie, Peaceful, Rabbit, Joe, and Andy can qualify for the next race. Who are you tipping for pole in that one as we get to the end here? Because I tell you who I'm tipping, and that's Joe.
With the form that he's had, yes, he's a strong contender. But I think Andy as well. Andy will go well as Emo Guy gets right out of the way of that battle. And again, the rules of how we play. The back markers are not obliged. They don't get blue flags. They're not obliged to get out of the way. It's their own personal courtesy. If they want to get out of the way, they can run their own race, like endurance rules. But Emo Guy there choosing to get out of the way of the battle, and I think a lot of drivers do. I certainly, I was running in last night in my first race. Leaders come through, just let them through. There's no need to, no need to hamper anybody else's race.
No need to hold them up. The rule is there because there was a lot of debate about back markers and leaders, especially a few Pro-Am drivers from last season saying about, all lap cars aren't moving, and some people lapping them in silly places more than anything. So the admin team and myself took it upon us to say, well, we'll make it like the World Endurance where you've got... Oh, no, is that lag? Is that lag for Jamie? Oh, it is!
He's gone. He's disconnected.
Oh, it is!
Oh, no.
He's going to score points for 12th place as we're on lap 15, but it's happened again. 12th place points. Can you make this stuff up? It is unbelievable. Jamie will be absolutely seething with that. He had a race win nailed on, and it's been stripped from him here. Yes, he can. I changed my mind about the race 2 qualifying, by the way. I'm tipping Jamie for pole. But what he's had a race win stripped away from him, that is cruel. That is cruel.
Gutted. Absolutely gutted for him. And, you know, if it was me, I'd be jumping straight out of that chair, right out to the modem and smashing it. You know
the best thing about it is Jamie's a pad user and stands up while he races. So he doesn't need to jump out. He doesn't need to jump out of chair. He's already on his feet.
I'd be turning around and chucking my controller at it. I really would. Gutted for him. Absolutely gutted. Did nothing wrong. And again, his internet lets him down. We must find out whose provider it is so we can do a trust pilot on it.
Season 1, Jamie took 12 race wins, won every race he raced in. The races he didn't win, he disconnected from because of his internet. Season 2 was in a championship battle with Gary, doesn't win it because of internet problems in the season. This season, got the pace to be at the front, but again the internet is letting him down, and Jamie will be livid. 4 points he's going to come away with, not 25, not even the fastest lap. 4.
Yeah. Now, the question is, who's going to win this race? Because there's 3 contenders here.
Yeah.
Who's going to win it? Has Little Leach done enough? We're going to find out in...
He's got to pit this lap or next lap, hasn't he?
I think it's going to depend.
He's going to be on Dan and D Biggs, I think. He's going to be on Dan and D Biggs.
Yeah.
After his pit stop. That's what I think. He's going to be on the back of or in front or in the middle of Biggs and Dan. Dan and Biggs are on each other now.
Yeah.
I wouldn't like to say, Jamie Brazier in the chat, oh, you've got to be kidding. Honestly, FFS, I'm so done with this. I had the control of this race and my internet goes again. Jamie, mate, thumbs up on the video while you're watching, but we do agree with you.
Yeah, Little Leach having a bit. He's gone into the pits. He had a bit of a squirrely into the thing, but he's in the pits. So he got 21 seconds as he comes into the pits over D Biggs. Is it enough? Yeah, probably not. Dan is right on the back of D Biggs now as well. So D Biggs could win this one, Matt. He really could.
D Biggs could win this one. It could be his first win of the season. We'll have to keep an eye on it though. Where is Little Leach? He's still in the box. We're gonna have to go onto an onboard view if we're to see his progression. Oh, he's in. This is taking a bit longer than D Biggs is. They're coming. Oh, now what's happened there? Oh, what happened there? D Biggs looked a little slow, if you ask me. Little Leach is now away. Now, I think Dan and Biggs have got the pace to pass him here. Indeed, they have. But Little Leach could be on the back of him. Now, what happened? Because Dan and Biggs looked a bit slow together coming through that final chicane. There's a Ginetta staying out of the way. That looks like Andy, whose race looks done, if you ask me. He's struggled in this one. Well, I said Little Leach was going to be on the back of Dan and D Biggs. He's nowhere near them.
Yeah, he's not. No, nowhere near. Which, again, that would have been how long it puts pit stop. Oh, look, teammates going side by side.
Now, remember what happened with Mercedes here a few years ago at this very same spot, and Dan up the inside of D Biggs. You remember what happened in the F1, Hamilton-Rosberg?
Yeah.
At that part of the track? That didn't go well, but this one has gone a bit better. Dan now attacking his teammate. He's going to look the longer way around at turn 5. Can't get this one done. Down towards 6 and 7. Biggs back in the front. Now, do you let Biggs get his first win of the season? What do you do? Dan wants every point he can take from this one. That was such a good pole lap, and it all counts for nothing now, says Jamie in the chat. He's heartbroken. Disco has passed Gary. So Gary's made a mistake somewhere. Disco's got himself... Gary's struggling tonight, Kelly.
Yeah, he certainly is. He certainly is, but these guys aren't struggling. Dan goes to the inside.
Now, there's no team orders between these two. There's no team orders. Not. These are gloves off, racing all the way. Biggs, bit wide after the hairpin. And that's Dan who's got himself through. And Dan looks like he's going to be in the lead of this race, which will be his 4th race win here at Simplay and his second
Hang on.
Yeah,
first.
There's a lap left. I don't want to jinx it, you know what the commentator's curse is like, but the pace he's showing at the minute, Kelly, it's a bit hard to look anywhere else other than Dan.
No, absolutely. But D Biggs is still there. It only needs Dan to make a little mistake, and D Biggs will.
He's going to have the toe as well.
Yeah. Yeah, so it's not done yet. Although the fat lady is warming up, it isn't done.
Yeah. Is it the fat lady, or is it the two fat blokes in the commentary box that are singing?
It could do. Yeah. Yeah. You know. I wouldn't say I'm fat.
I don't know about yourself, but I was talking.
You know?
I was talking more me.
Mate. No, I am fat. No.
Oh.
Yeah.
I'm in the same boat as you, mate. Oh, well, I'm not in the same boat as you because we'll probably sink it.
Well, no, mine's more middle-aged spread, where yours is just not.
Yeah. No.
Yeah.
We're here all night, folks. This conversation will keep going throughout the evening, so don't go anywhere.
No, absolutely. I mean, I have got a six-pack. I'm just hiding it under all this fat.
I have, but it's at the shop waiting to be purchased. It's
absolutely
Strongbow cider.
Strongbow cider.
As we're coming to the last lap there, Dan is gapping D Biggs here then. So as D Biggs succumbed to his fate of a P2, that is Emo Guy 7th, not for position, but is a lap down. Lidleach nowhere near the back of these. Gary's lost out to Disco then a couple of laps ago. We didn't see that one, but Dan here, well, ever the opportunistic driver. Jamie disconnects. He's got past it. Well, let's not forget, Dan was second, well ahead of D Biggs. D Biggs' phenomenal pit stop put him in the position of P2 for so long. And Dan's managed to get back on the back of him. Liam Gamer, that Buzzy Boy. What happened to Jamie? And come on, Kelly, don't lie now. Where's my fourth slap?
You'll get a slap, Liam. Don't you worry about that.
What happened to Jamie? What do you think
just
happened to Jamie, Liam? It doesn't take a lot of guessing to guess what happened to Jamie. No more singing, please. As round the final corner comes Dan, it's going to be a P1 for him. It's his fourth win here at Simplay Motorsport, and he's back with a bang as he takes the checkered flag. There's a car stop there. That took me by surprise. D Biggs then gets second. Lidleach with a strong third. His second podium of the season. Disco Face is going to take a P4. Solid result. Gary struggling then with a fifth place. Andy then has got 11th. He stopped at the exit to the pit lane. Sooty Apex, solid P6. That is his best result this season. What a job the Acora's done. We haven't spoken enough about the Acora tonight. In its Halford's colours. Lovely.
We've spoken far too much about the American lawnmower. But he's going to drag.
There you go. Give us a flash. Yes.
A6,
Good drive from Sooty. Indeed. Andy retired from the race, but he will be counted. Emo then finishes P7, a lap down. That is Peaceful Explosion, P8, not the race he'd have wanted in that one. Well, she's going to take a P9 there then. And Rabbit Joe, well, what can I say?
For Rabbit Joe, eh?
Yeah, exactly. What could have been for this man? But he gets to qualify.
Yep. And that shake and bake 1-2 there for
who got the fastest lap? 45.6 from Dan, 45.7 Disco, 45.1 Andy. So Andy, fastest lap of the race then. So that's wrong column. Yeah. That's an extra point then for Andy. We're going to take a short break in just a moment. Right now, we'll be back in just a moment with the driver interviews and qualifying too. So don't go anywhere.
You're the night sky trying to make me see your stars, but the dark gets lonely. Now I see violet, I can feel silence. In the dark's all that I see when your stars are burnt out and your heart makes no sound. I'll find violet in your eyes. You'll always be my night sky.
Getting hype when I aim up, elevating that game up, stepping up to the competition. Only first place, yeah, that's how I'm living. I'm with it till they digging up my grave. Eating all the things up on my plate. Game face when I step up in the place. I was born and when I watched me elevate. I was born and when I watched me elevate. All in when I show up. Whole place about to blow up. Superior to that competition. I'm in first place, yeah, that's how I'm living. I'm with it till they digging up my grave. Eating all the things up on my plate. Game face when I step up in the place. I was born and when I watched me elevate. When I watch me elevate. I was born and when I watch me elevate. I was born and when I watch me elevate.
Broken dreams in my pocket. Golden thing round my neck like a locket. Carve your name in my mind, cause you caught it. You caught it. You're golden, golden. Honestly, you know it. Me under the street light at the young, so I could show you. You're golden, golden. Honestly, you're glowing. Me under the mezzanine, just so that I could show you. You're golden. Yeah, you're
Welcome back to Simplay Motorsport then. We are qualifying two, and the top six couldn't qualify for this race. So that is Dan at Unorthodox D-Biggs, Little Each, Disco McDisco Face, Gary. P5 was Gary, yeah. Sutty Apex was then P6. So they're the six that cannot qualify. Liam's managed to get himself into this one. And Jamie's back. For how long? We'll wait and see. But we've got the top three in the box. We're going to start with Little Each first. Craig, great result for yourself. Second podium of the season. Just didn't have enough to get on the back of the other two.
No, I tried to make the longer pit stop to make it work, but it wasn't happening. Biggs and Dan were too quick.
Oh, we've just lost Biggs from the session. Hopefully can get him back in. Yeah, you led for a while, obviously, when you tried to change the strategy and go along, but you had the pace early on, it seemed, on the back of D. Biggs. Just couldn't get past him.
I got his slipstream a couple of laps, and then they started to pull away. He pitted. I thought, right, get some fresh air and try and get on, but it didn't quite work.
How is the car tonight? Gary seemed to struggle. You seem to have the opposite effect and have a bit of decent pace. When you texted me before the race started, you went, "Oh, I don't know how tonight's going to go."
I'm not that confident. To be fair, I'm using Algarve setup too because I haven't had time to have any practice or anything, so I weren't very confident at all.
Well, what can you do from the back of the grid?
Well, hopefully top six will be nice.
We'll wish you the best of luck with it.
Yeah,
Thanks,
best
mate.
luck.
We've got Dom in with us as well. Hopefully he gets himself back in the session. Dom, good race for yourself, good pace, great pit stop. Your teammate just pipped you at the end.
Yeah, it was just consistent laps. I thought it was just safer and fairer to let Dan go at the end because he was quicker than me and he qualified ahead of me, so rather than cause an accident and do anything silly, I'll just let him go.
It's good for the team. It's put you a point behind the Leachy Legends in the Constructors' Championship, and again it just confirms how consistent you've been this season. It's another podium on the chart. Maybe not the top step, but you are racking up the points brilliantly at the minute.
Yeah, that's what it was all about. That's all we can do.
What's your plans then from the back of the grid, mate? Obviously, I've just seen you manage to get back in, so you'll be starting towards the rear end. What can you do from there?
Well, we'll see. Hopefully, what I can normally do, I can sometimes get a podium out in the second race, but I anything above midfield, I'm normally happy with.
Brilliant, mate. We'll let you get back to it.
Best luck.
We got Dan in with us as well, and Dan's stream. So evening to all on Dan's stream. Get you sent over to Simplay Motorsport. Leave a like. Go back and visit Dan. Dan, great race for the first one. You had the pace over Dom Biggs and Little Each. You didn't have the pace to match Jamie. Heartbreaking for Jamie that he disconnected, but brilliant for you that you've managed to take that race win, especially after last week.
Massive disappointment for obviously Jamie, and I'm sorry that he had to disconnect. He should have won that race. It was his to win. But yeah, regardless with Little Each and D Biggs, when Biggs actually came out in front of me, I was worried that Little Each was going to outdo me as well. But it was just all about saving the tyres and not overheating them, just doing consistent lap times and staying on track.
What was the tyres like in that race? So obviously we've heard a lot in the week and in testing, and obviously last night a bit as well. What was the tyres like in that one? Was you able to keep pushing on them, or did they heat up as we expected?
They did heat up. It was kind of a weird heat cycle. So the first couple of laps, if you pushed hard, they would go really yellow. So it's kind of keeping them in that window. Towards the end, I was doing like hot laps, one after the other, and then eventually they started overheating again. So I was kind of doing a lap on, lap off kind of situation. So it's varied either way, but bum fuzzle. But it's how it's panned out really, and I'm just looking after the tyres.
You're going to start P12 in the next race, just ahead of Gary and just behind Little Each. Can you get a good start and get up that sharp end? You needed this after last week. Can you do it in the second race?
Well, after last week's shenanigans, the 50 quid has paid off. I'm just going to stay out of trouble, keep it clean, and just see where the race takes me. I think I'm starting higher than the guys I raced against, other than Sutty and Little Each. And Disco as well. So so it's just giving it like a dingleberry,
Yeah. Well, best of
What?
Like a
What?
dingleberry.
Giving it like a dingleberry?
I reckon his chat are putting him up to saying some of these words. I've never heard that expression. But no,
what? Set up words? Is that what's going on?
yeah, I reckon they're sort of getting it the old you daren't say this. And he's,
Because there
doing it,
is
so he's giggling, look, so he's giggling.
Yeah,
He's giggling to
there's some
himself.
stuff going on his stream, isn't there? There's some stuff going on Daniel's actual stream. I believe you've got to shave your beard off, Dan.
Yeah, so basically on my stream right now, I said that if I get to 10 likes, I would do the next race topless. If I got to 30 likes, I would shave the beard, and at the minute, I'm on 32 likes. So I'm currently sat here freezing my nipples off. And,
Well, I tell you what,
I'm gonna be...
can we make a little bet here then, Dan?
Go on then.
If we make 30 likes, you'll do next week's race naked.
Oh, God,
I'm already at 30 likes. I'm already at 30 likes.
If we make 30 likes, so we need 6 more likes.
So,
if we make 6 more likes, you'll do next week's race naked.
So all my streamers, right? If you get Simplay Motorsport to 30 likes, I will do Zoo High butt naked. Okay.
Well, there's something I don't need to say because I haven't seen that since he had a nappy.
Well, best of luck, Dan. We'll let you get back to it for race 2, buddy. Take care, mate.
Dan.
Cheers.
A lovely little bet we've got going there. That'll be may have to get Dan's live stream so we can just keep an eye on it on our own as well as Dan's to make sure he is doing as the bet says. Provided we get to the 30, it's like betting with Gary again, isn't it? If you can stay up all day, I'll give you an extra 40 quid to go to the Cancer Research charity.
Yeah.
Except this doesn't benefit us too, Kelly.
No, not. In fact, it probably hinders us to have that mental picture.
Oh dear.
You know, no, thank you. I'd rather go back to singing.
So Gary's going to start P13 in this first qualifying, then dead last in this race. Dan's going to then just start ahead of him in P12. Ahead of Dan, it's going to be Little each. D Biggs actually gets the best position out of this one, starting P8. Yeah,
absolutely. So, the best kind of position, really. And it's randomly generated, that bottom half. So, so blind luck, really. But yeah, a good place to start. But as we said in race 1, it's not all about the qualifying. The starts are so incredibly important. And, we'll see how it pans out, for sure.
We will see how it pans out. The two Ginettas are going to lock out the front row at the moment. That's how it's panning out so far. We didn't tip that one. You said Andy. Watch for Andy.
Yeah.
I said Joe. Joe's up there. Jamie's up there as we expected. That Bozzy boy well off the pace at the minute. Hopefully he can get back onto the pace of Welsh and these front runners, because his qualifying 2 performance is averaging 4th. He'll want to get up in that top part of the grid to make sure he keeps that average going. He has got the best average in Q2. Never been on the front row. Highest start of 3rd place. So what can he do in this one as he's about to end a lap? Liam. We love Liam. He's got his wipers on. I don't think he knows if it's raining or not. The sun's out, mate. There's no rain forecast at all. He's a bit slidey through that little bend.
He's a bit all over the place, to be fair. I wonder if he's how much practice he's done this week.
Oh, he's gone 5th.
Oh, that's better. That's better. Still 1.2 off the pace. Oh, he's gone again. Jamie's disconnected again with 1 minute 38. Is he even going to make the start? He's going to be frantically...
If he makes the start, he'll be starting by the back then, because he won't get a lap in. There's not enough time to get a lap in. Hopefully he gets in. That's promoted Joe to 3rd and Liam to 4th. Well, Joe in the pits as well, so the fight for pole has gone. Liam's only slightly up, so he's not going to challenge the 44s of the Ginettas. Jamie. Likes are creeping up. They are. We're up to 28. Oh, well then.
29 on my screen.
It says 28 on mine. We'll have to take the final tally after then. If it's just a bit glitched out, we'll have to take the final tally. Not at the end of this. I'll have to put a post out on the group and the Discord to see if Dan's made it or not.
Yeah.
But if this gets to 30 likes, Dan will race on his stream next week naked. That is one you may want to avoid.
We have to keep talking about it.
No, we don't. What we need to talk about is getting Jamie Brazier back on this session. That's what we need to talk about. Is he going to make it, or is he, like Liam, going to miss the second race here?
Well, yeah. It's not looking very promising right now. What does he need to do to sort this internet thing out? I don't know. I think we talked to him before. I don't know if he's said about connecting it directly. LAN leading straight into the back of the router and into the PlayStation. But I don't know if it's a long way away from his PlayStation. I'm not sure. I'm sure we've had a conversation about it before. But this is really hurting him. Do you know what I mean? Really, he's back in the session, but will he? Will he? be on the grid.
Well, this is what we'll have to wait and see, isn't it? We'll have to wait and see. Qualifying is done. Andy looks like he's on provisional pole from Emo Guy then, so no one else can improve here. So that is Andy's second pole of the season. Emo Guy gets that first place. Rabbit Joe, 2 third places tonight. What a qualifying session for Joe. He's had an absolute blinder. His average qualifying now is 11th and 7th. Liam, Peaceful's just through in that one. Liam currently P4 as qualifying finishes, so he'll keep his average of 4th place. Peaceful Explosion will be P5, and Welshie will be P6. Now the real question is Jamie in?
Well, that is a real question. He's not on the classification. So he's
literally just commented on the channel. I think Jamie needs better broadband. Poor lad, says Peaceful Stepdad. And Jamie said, "Oh my God, I'm going to break everything in a minute." So it's Andy from Emo Guy, Rabbit Joe, that Buzzy Boy, Peaceful, Welshie, D Biggs, the first of the non-qualifiers from Disco, Sooty, Little Each, Unorthodox and Gary. We're going to press continue. Hopefully Jamie Brazier's name appears, even if it's dead last. He does appear.
And it is. He's in.
So Jamie will start P13. Now, it's not what he wanted. He could have been on that second row of the grid, but what it has done is it's promoted Gary, it's promoted Little Each, it's promoted Dan. Sooty's gone up. In fact, it's promoted everybody, hasn't it? D-Biggs is now 7th. Sooty's now 8th. Disco's now... Sooty's now 9th. Disco's 8th. Gary's 12th. So, yeah, a lot of places promoted. The 2 Ginettas lock out the front row. I think that's the first front row lockout of the season in the Pro.
Yeah,
so we'll have to... Definitely. Yeah, good qualifying for them. We'll have to keep our eyes on this. I'm out of this one as well, says Jamie. You're not, mate. You're on the grid.
Well, we see you on the grid, Jamie, anyway.
Yeah, hopefully you're on the grid.
There. Yeah, as we're just waiting for the everybody to ready up, and you can see them all on the grid, but they're all just doing their final tweaks and whatever before we sync up and go. So, yeah, a lot of quick guys towards the back. Gary, Unorthodox, Jamie, Little Leach, basically the last 2 rows with those 4, all very quick. So see how they get on. We'll see how Disco gets on. Hasn't had the best of runs.
A few problems, didn't he, race 1?
Absolutely. Liam doing his best to get himself a nosebleed again in second qualifying. Up in 4th, hasn't been on track yet. So, So
the one that interests me, Kelly, in this one is Biggs from 7th. He's in that middle of the pack. Yeah. What can he do from there? Is he going to be able to get the good start and get up, or is it? I mean, we've not seen any carnage in the Pro, and this is what we enjoy. He's not seeing the incidents come in, so that's good for them guys. But let's see what they can do then, as we are still waiting these guys to ready up. Hopefully Jamie is in the session. We see him on screen. Hopefully he's on screen on his own. He's ready. Well, everybody's ready. Jamie's still there, so he's not retired from this race. This is Gary's 50th race start, so he's making his half milestone today. We're green for round 10, and who gets the best getaway? Liam and Joe get a decent launch. Joe this time is already into the lead before turn 1, so he's got even more time to get it right. Liam got off the line well, but has got a bit bogged down since then. He's got to break into turn 1.
Welshie
nice
as well.
and early.
Welshie,
Welshie, cracking start as Liam, Andy there catching Joe under the brakes. A bit of a wiggle, and off he goes. Liam's going to get himself back up into P2, so it's the old teammates of Liam and Joe. 1-2 at the minute. They're not teammates anymore. Bitter rivals on the circuit, and Liam will want to hunt down that Porsche early on. Kelly, you know a bit more about race 2, which we'll speak to you about later in terms of the temperatures. Liam, good for a move up the inside, and job done. The Liam lunge back out.
Hold on to it.
Wow, what a start from Joe and Liam. And Liam's already gapped Joe a little bit. Liam is gone here. Now is Joe thinking Liam's going to burn his tyres out. Kelly, you know a bit more about the race 2 conditions. We'll get to that one in a little bit when the race just starts to die down. But Liam has gone at the start.
Liam, if you're listening to the stream, let those tyres warm up. Don't overcook it.
Joe!
Joe does exactly that and loses it as he goes into the uphill chicane, and he loses it and he goes round. So Liam out in front. Liam, let those tyres warm up. Get them warmed up.
Wow.
Emo guy's right behind you.
Jamie Brazier's P5 from 13th after the first lap. Heck of a start from this man. Dan's up to 6th.
Right
Where's D
behind
Biggs?
him.
Yeah, D Biggs has dropped to 11th. Gary's only 12 still, so not the start for D Biggs. Gary's not got going either. But Dan and Jamie have had a cracking getaway. So has Liam, though. 4th place. To say he didn't race for race 1, Liam will now. How's your nerve? Keep it calm, keep it nice, keep it tidy, and keep it on that track. That is the most important thing. He's got the 2 Ginettas, which this Audi should pull away from down this part of the track.
Straight.
Ian will be desperate for the slipstream, which may not work. Well, she's under pressure in the background from Jamie and Dan, but here's Liam leading a lap out of the first lap here in the Pro Series. He'll be absolutely buzzing with that. Emo Guy keeps with Liam, to be fair, into turn 1, and they're 3 wide in the background. Dan, Jamie and Welshie are 3 wide, and Welshie's been sandwiched, and like Mick Harkonnen and Michael Schumacher back in the day, split the slower car and through they go. Jamie managing to just keep in front of Dan.
Who was the guy in the middle?
Oh, couldn't tell you. Montoya?
Zolder.
Don't know.
Somebody like that.
Yeah.
We'll get back to that one.
Yeah. For those who don't know, get in the comments.
I've just got to remember it.
Peaceful looking up the inside of Welsh there as we cut back towards the front. Emo Guy still pressuring Liam, but Liam just needs to keep his calm. He needs to remember that long way to go in this race. Cooler temperatures will mean that the tyres will last a bit longer.
Yes.
You see the night time really coming in here, and it's really starting to roll in this evening. It's about 8 o'clock local time as Liam just looked a bit slow through there, and the Ginettas able to keep on the front with him. He really could do with his teammate Jamie getting on the back. Here's Sutty, who's a bit all over the place in that Acora, with Little Each attacking the back of Disco for 7th place, and it's been all go these opening laps, Kelly.
It certainly has, and I don't know where to jump next. There's action all up and down the field at the moment as they could try and sort themselves out. So it's still out in front. It's Liam. He's got Emo Guy keeping him very honest. Andy there with a waiting brief just in 3rd place. But Jamie, hoping his internet's going to hold out because he's chasing these 2 down. And Dan with a really good start, race 1 winner. So these are all contenders. Little Leach, Disco Face, and all these guys in a bit of a scrap as well. Peaceful in there. So it all still going on down at the bottom. But we're willing Liam along, aren't we? We would love to see Liam take a race win in Pro. That would be absolutely fantastic.
Looks like D Biggs got past.
A long way to go.
He has got a long way to go. Looks like D Biggs got past Sutty. Oh, Liam's gone a bit deep at turn 1, and is this Emo Guy's opening then here? He's going to try and get to the inside of turn 3. Liam's going to have the better line, you'd say, on the outside. Yeah, the outside's not a worse line though round there, is it? Although it will set Andy up for the turn 4 unless Liam can get across and cover it. He can't, so that little mistake from Liam now. He's got to get back on the pace. Andy's going to look up the inside. Liam again still not in a bad position. He will be on the inside for the next part of the corner then, and Andy can't get that job done. Tucks back in behind Liam, and what can the Audi do now? He's lost 1 place from his own little mistake in turn 1. Got to get back on it to try and get past Emo Guy. Still got time though. I saw D Biggs passing Sutty. That was for 9th place. Gary hasn't moved from 12th. Oh, Liam, no. Liam! He's had a wiggle. Liam, no. He's off. Oh, it's gone horribly wrong. Where is he?
Poor Liam.
Where is he? I don't think I've seen him come back on the circuit yet. He's dropped down the order.
He's dropping.
He's there.
There he is.
Behind Sutty Apex. Maybe he's just pushed a little too hard there then. It doesn't look too damaged, that car, so hopefully he'll be back on it. But it's Emo from Andy now. The 2 leaders of Joe and Liam have both dropped it and dropped down the order. Gary's got past Welshie into 11th. Disco's past Peaceful. That's for 6th place. That's for 5th place now that Liam's got. Oh, Peaceful!
Peaceful's dropped it. That gives Little Leach. He was gaining on Peaceful and starting to hunt him down. But loads of battles up and down. Gary has moved forward a little bit, but more because the guys in front of him have been dropping it. He goes past Peaceful and is right up behind Liam now. D Biggs going along steady as usual. He's coming up behind Little Leach and chasing him down. Disco having a better run right at the moment, but towards the front here, this is where it's all going to happen because Unorthodox and Jamie are going to hunt down these Ginettas, you know.
Oh, Dan there just had a little wiggle. Sorry, Kelly. Just had a bit of a wiggle on the brakes into turn 1. And you're right, they are going to hunt down these Ginettas. The Ginettas will be good through this part of the track, but just that straight line speed lets these 2 Ginettas down. Emo Guy leading from Andy, though. Stellar job from these 2 to be at the front.
Yeah, absolutely. And we'll see how long they can hold on to it because I do think Jamie's going to catch them. Well, both Jamie and Dan are catching them reasonably quickly. Remember, Jamie started from the very back of the grid with no qualifying pace at all. Dan was also at the back of the grid, being that he didn't qualify in the first one either. So these guys having an absolute cracker of a race. Only 2 Ginettas in the way. So we'll
Where
see
is
how
Dan?
this
Where is
progresses.
Dan just dropped off the back of Jamie a little bit there. Has he made a mistake?
little bit.
He's a bit closer to Disco, isn't he? Has he made a mistake somewhere? I said the Porsche looked a bit twitchy. I wonder if he's just had a bit of a wobble under the brakes again round part of the opening lap of the circuit. But he's still going, so he's not lost it. He's not lost any places. And Jamie now is right on the back of Andy, isn't he? He is motoring along. He's got points to gain in this second race.
Yes, he has. And I wonder, probably what you were hinting to at the beginning of the race is, are these cooler temperatures as we move into the evening? This race started at 8 p.m. Spanish time, whatever that is, an hour ahead of us, an hour ahead of us in Spain. So it started at 8 o'clock, as the race starts. So the time, it'll be cooling down. I put on a set of softs halfway through the race because I was... and major damage was at back. Thought I'd just try it for fits and giggles. And I put a pair of softs on at about lap 8, something like that, and run them all the way to the end with no problems whatsoever. So are the hards going to cool off and not be as good? Is that why Dan is just a little bit off the pace?
Possibly. Jamie seeming to be on the pace, still in the 45s, low 45s as well. So Randy do a 45.1 for the fastest lap in race 1. Jamie's already at a 45.2. With these cooler temperatures then, Kelly, are the harder tyres going to be that bit better in their performance because they're not overheating as quick?
Well, yeah, maybe. Do you know what I mean? Or are they not going to give the grip because they'll cool down too much, So it'd be interesting to see if anybody drops it when they've done their pit stops after the, when the heat cycle, kind of the tyres cool off a little bit. Will that change the characteristics of the tyre again? So we'll see. So Jamie's caught up onto the back of that, just jumping backwards again. D Biggs, Little Leach, D Biggs, reasonably close company, although he's not hanging right off the back. These guys are reeling in Disco McDisco. And we're reeling in Dan at the moment. So, Dan just dropping off the front run as we see Jamie getting very, very close to the back of Andy now.
And Dean Wasaki in the chat just saying unlucky to Liam. Obviously, Liam's his nephew, so Uncle saying unlucky to Liam. And it was unlucky to Liam because he was driving a cracking race. Kieran Argent softs for me till this for me still didn't work. I think it depends on the car, says Kieran. So that's in relation to the tyre wear. Look at this then, as Jamie's going to look around the outside of Andy. Andy can't get up the inside of Emo Guy, and Jamie's going to try and hang it around. It will be the inside for turn 2, but again the outside for turn 3, and he's tucked back in then, realising that he's not going to make it now. I noticed that a lot of drivers last night and tonight have taken a very different line through here, through this corner. Through turn 3. You normally see the F1 stay wide, don't you? And they sort of run on the green AstroTurf pit. A lot of drivers last night and tonight I've noticed have taken just a slightly different line round that turn 3 corner. Daniel France, I think, did take the F1 line last night through there.
I changed my line after a little advice from Dan, and because I was coming out of turn 2 and then was quite tight as I came in to turn 3. I was dragging it out to the outside and then late apexing it afterwards.
Right.
And it was working for me. Do you know what I mean? Taking a deeper entry, apexing later, and I was finding time there for sure. But there's multiple lines there, definitely. Fernando Alonso famously overtook about 3 cars on the outside at the start of one of the races. He was back when he was back in the Ferrari, as I remember.
He also famously had that big crash there for the McLaren. Do you remember when he first went back to the McLaren in the pre-season test, and he missed the first race or so, I think, with a concussion, I do believe. And then the year after he broke his ribs at Australia after hitting the back of Gutierrez and missed a couple of races then, and you just thought, well, is this him sort of done? Well, it's not, because obviously he's came back and had a good result at the weekend. But Jamie here, I tell you what, this is really allowing Emo Guy to go. Disco is the first man in then. Dan is the first man in again. I've done that again now. Dan then in at the end of lap 6.
Yeah, I wonder what Dan's thinking. I wonder if Dan wants... is just getting his pit stop over and done with before he gets... Because he'll probably come out in clean air. Oh, look, Jamie up the inside turn 3.
Oh, he's
that was
tapped.
a bit optimistic.
Yeah, he's tapped-handed here. He's
Yeah.
going slow now. I wouldn't have it parked in the middle of the track because there'll be oncoming traffic. Jamie then was in the wrong, but has slowed down to let Andy through. And this has allowed, look, the BMW of Disco McDisco Face,
Yes.
who's going to have an almighty run on the pair of them coming up towards turn 4. He's got Jamie done, and Jamie there then letting Andy have that place back. Knew he was in the wrong and tucks back in, but unfortunately has lost a place. Oh no, Disco!
Oh, Disco
Where
drops
Rabbit
it.
Joe lost it in race 1. Disco has dropped it. Peaceful's in the pits. Gary's been in the pits as well, says Dan. But, oh dear, Disco. This is a man P6 again at the minute. And with Disco having damage, look at the Acora's pace. Back to oh, he's got past him in a straight line. Flying is the Acora. Flying.
Yeah. The BMW's smashed to bits and probably only got 3 wheels.
That don't matter.
But nevertheless, a pass is a pass.
We've got to celebrate these overtakes, Kelly. We've got to celebrate.
Yeah, well, mate. However, if it's the little things where you get your kicks, then you fill your boots, fella.
Just as Disco had made up to into P3 as well ahead of Jamie, he's then gone and lost it where Joe did in race 1. And look at how much he's struggling because he's lost ground to Sutty already and has got D Biggs on him. I imagine we'll see Disco in the pits this lap. Pit window's open, so oh, he's wide again. Look,
keep on the track. Yeah, he's
struggling.
Pit that one for sure.
You'd have thought so. Now, what strategy is Dan, Gary and Peaceful? Peaceful's only just got himself out the pits. He's going to be a lap down to Emo Guy here then, as on excuse me. Excuse me then. Unorthodox has just got himself past Welchie. That was for position, and D Biggs into the pits at the end of lap 7.
Yep, so Jamie's still back onto the back of Andy. Of course, their little incident has given Emo Guy some breathing space. It is now 6 seconds clear of these two. So round 2 with these. First time round, Jamie was a little bit optimistic about what was going to happen, and he knew that, so he gave the place back, did the right thing, spot on. But now it drops these guys a bit further back, so they got it all to do.
They have got it all to do, and what can Jamie do from here? Also, the question will be did he receive a bit of aero damage when he gave Andy that tap on the front of that car? That may hamper him a bit later in this race, especially when the pit stops come around, if his pit stop has to be that little bit longer. D Biggs is out the pits ahead of Gary, so that's that one done. Disco in the chat saying blah. Yeah, what a shame, mate, because he just got up onto that podium spot as well. He's now in the pits repairing his damage. Could lose out to Peaceful here. Where is Peaceful? He's coming around the last part of the track ahead of just behind Emo Guy, as Disco's blue dot on the map is moving. So Peaceful will not get paid. There he is. Look, he's out the pit. So Peaceful won't get him, but he's lost a lot of time to Gary 131, who's P11 still. I mean, I know he's pitted, but he struggled tonight as Gary compared to Little Leach.
He certainly has, considering they're running the same setup. But as we said earlier, they don't particularly like the same setup. So they're both running on an Algar setup. So maybe Little Leach's suits this track better than Gary's does.
Ian into the pits at the end of lap 8, then Emo Guy into the pits, which will release Andy and Big Boy Brazier. Just saw Joe and Liam having a rematch of their start of this race, but we're seeing Liam's teammate Jamie have an almighty slipstream down the start straight, and he's going to look. Andy covers him off. Jamie's still coming now. Has he got it done? Oh, he has. He's wow. Yeah. I mean, Andy moved across there and left the car's width brilliantly.
Yeah.
Would you have not at that point said, if he was Jamie, gone, nah, I'm not. If I get there, I'm not making that?
Yeah, I mean, he's closing speed. Once Andy gave him room, Jamie just shot through, and he was never going to slow that down, was he?
No.
So he goes again.
He does go again. He goes for a third time in this one. Welchie in the pits at the end of lap 8. Liam on the back of Joe. They've got Sutty just up in front. The Acora, P4 at the minute. P4.
Yeah, there it is.
What a drive. That's from
nice.
the Matt Neal-esque Sutty Apex. Neil absolutely hate me for saying that, but what a drive. Remember his move last week? Oh, here goes Liam having a look.
Close, Liam.
Yeah, it was a bit close, that, but he managed to not put it into the back of Joe. Obviously, teammate season 1, teammate season 2. Bitter rivals this year, bitter rivals, and this is where both of them lost the car in the opening couple of laps. Joe looks a bit stronger through there than Liam does. Harvey looked a bit twitchy, but Liam looks... He's just dropped off the back of him a bit there again, making another slight mistake.
Yeah, struggling through there a little bit, isn't he?
He is just a little bit, isn't he? Where are these two? 5th and 6th at the minute. Is
Not a million miles away from Sutty, are they?
No, there is Sutty. Look, just in the distance there. Joe's just stretched his legs a little bit this lap, but I imagine Liam is Andy then. Jamie's got past Andy, but that's because Andy has then dived into the pits at the end of lap 9. So looking for the undercut. Team Prolapse, me, I have a question. What's your question, Nicky? Get it in the chat, we can answer it. A question. Stuff the racing, there's a question. Liam and Joe then. Liam obviously not thinking that the undercut will work, and he's coming round now. Get back into that slipstream of Joe. Joe catching the back of Sutty. Andy has been passed in the pits. These boys are now the Acora's on the podium. Let's end the race, quick.
It's the only way it's going to happen.
Yeah, well, hey. 8 laps to go, yeah?
Yes, indeed. And you say City driving Matt Neal-esque. Well, that's only because he's got nobody to crash into right at the moment. So,
do you not remember his move at McLean's last week? Laid on the brakes up the inside. Lovely move from Sutty.
Yeah, it's proper Sutty send it.
Yeah.
Probably at the end of this season, it'll be a Sutty scrap it when he gets rid of that Acora.
Well, I hope he doesn't get rid of the Acora. It'd be nice to see an Acora on the grid. Let's put it that way.
Yeah, so what's happened to Joe? Oh no, what's happened to Liam? Liam's gone backwards. Joe was he was right there with Joe, but he must have had another little spin because Dan's in front of him, and Emo's in and out the pits. Yeah. So
what a shame for Liam, because he was running well. So just a little couple of mistakes have just hampered his pressure here. 29 likes on the stream, it's saying on my end now, so that's brilliant. One more and Dan has to race the next week's race naked. So make sure you give a thumbs up for that one. Oh, Liam again. Oh, another wobble.
Oh, no.
I want to know who in real life has the fastest lap at this track, and I haven't Googled it, so I don't know. Well, I actually got this on Wikipedia yesterday, Kelly.
Okay.
And it gave me a very interesting answer. It gave me not just the fastest lap overall, but it gave me a fastest lap in category. Would you like to know the fastest GT3 lap, which I was quite shocked at?
Yeah, go on.
So the fastest lap in the GT3s was done at the 2021 Barcelona Le Mans Cup round, so this year, in a Porsche 911 GT3R by Julian Andlauer. I don't know if I'm saying that right, with a 146.3. We've been smashing them times.
If you're listening, Julian, sorry about the pronunciation.
Yeah, and also, why are you 2 seconds slower than Jamie Brazier?
Well,
but the fastest lap time is Max Verstappen from this year's Spanish Grand Prix with a 118.1. But it gave me a whole breakdown. It gave me MotoGP, it gave me Moto2, Moto3, Moto E. It gave me absolutely anything. Renault Formula Renault 3.5, LMP1s, LMP3s, GTEs, Formula 4, touring cars, which is Ash Sutton in a Volkswagen from 2018 apparently, in the TCR Europe round, in a 154.9. DTM from 2009, 108 dead. It just gave me every one, and it was very fascinating to have that broke down and done for me by that category. So GT3 146ers, we're absolutely outdoing them 146ers here tonight.
Well, I'd just like to say, Team Prolapse, that is a very, very comprehensive answer, isn't it?
Yeah, you like that, didn't you? I'm full of stats, brilliant. Mate. I'm full of stats.
I was desperately trying to Wikipedia it before you got in there and just reeled all that lot off. So
sorry, Kelly. I took it away from you.
Not at all. We told the audience out there that between us we know everything. So and we do. Just proved it.
We did just prove it. Joe has got himself on the back of Sutty. What a shame Liam's not with him to keep on that pressure as well. But Joe on the back of Sutty now. This for P3. Both still have to pit just yet. If I was Liam, would you be tempted to bring it in after a couple of spins? He's dropped to 11th.
Yeah, maybe.
Or has he pitted and I've missed that while I was reading that out?
I don't know, because I was looking as well. Kieran Argent making a good point. Was that with the new improved turn 10? Well, definitely Verstappen's would have been, because that was from this year, and the new turn 10 was in then.
Joe! He's lost it.
So well.
Yeah, he was running well. He's got good pace tonight, is Joe, and it's not happened for him. And to be honest, I can only read what's in front of me in terms of the lap records. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Now, anyone in the chat, please tell me while I was reading that out, has Liam pitted? Because he's dropped to 11th. So I feel unless he's had a couple more mistakes, he's got to have pitted. Please tell me in the chat if that was brilliant. That was brilliant. What a great answer, says Team Prolapse in the chat. So it's Jamie from Craig from Sutty. All three of them have got to pit. So has Joe. So has Liam. unless Liam's already pitted. Please tell me if he has in the chat. But here's Emo Guy, P4, maybe a net P1. I mean, 23 seconds, that's a bigger gap than what Little Leach had in race 1 when he pitted and dropped to 3rd. So Emo Guy still net P1 at the minute.
Yeah, absolutely. I think Little Leach had 21 seconds when he came into the pit. So what's Jamie doing lap time? 46.3. It's 46.2 from Emo Guy. So Emo Guy still keeping a very good pace. Look at that. Look
Dean
at
says
that.
Liam has pitted, so
right.
We must have missed that while we was reading that down. Sutty's coming into the pits at the end of lap 12. So there goes the Acora off the podium. So if Liam has pitted, that will explain why he's now P10. Has Disco had another problem? Because Liam 159 and a 238 was his last 2 laps. So that would explain a lot. Rabbit Joe is now into the pits as well at the end of lap 13. I don't know if he pitted. I can do a rewind. Just double check for me, Nicky, if you don't mind. Dean says he has. I mean, I assume he has, because he did a 238 and then a 159, and that's kind of been the in-lap and the out-lap kind of pace, hasn't it? So,
sounded like it, wasn't it?
And he's dropped to P10 when he was running up the top 5 or 6 earlier on. Can Liam get anywhere near Joe and Sutty, as Gary's got past Sutty and Rabbit Joe to put him into P7, and the only guys left to pit then are Jamie and Little Leach. Here he is, Little Leach. Again, 9 seconds off the back of Big Boy Brazier. When are these two going to pit? I wonder how the tyres are. I don't know, the change was completed in 2020, so any lap time for 2020-21 will be the new profile.
Yeah.
Well, I can only read what's in front of me.
Yeah, that's...
a 146 in the GT3s, that's all I know.
Yeah. Well, anything, as I said, would have been with the new layout, which is actually there.
It's the hairpin, isn't it? Just there. And it kind of now takes that left-right there that's just come up. It kind of takes that first left-hander out of it, doesn't it? It sort of straight lines it a bit more. Yeah,
it basically gets rid of turn 11 almost. Do you know what I mean? Turn 11, it becomes non-existent.
They've also made
basically from 10 to 12.
They've also made some changes to Melbourne, haven't they? Albert Park for the Grand Prix later this year. Made it a bit wider in places, and have made a few improvements to some of the corners. Changed the profile of some of the corners as well.
Not one of my favourite tracks, to be fair.
Oh, do you not? I think Melbourne Park are brilliant. To watch, it's a bit drab, but I like to drive it on the games.
Just no and no. I usually like it because it's normally the first race of the season, as we normally know. So I'm usually quite excited because it's the first race of the season. But as a track, it does nothing for me. Not to watch, not to drive. But each their own, eh?
Kieran's just put in the chat.
Catalunya, so
I think Catalunya is a bit drab. Kieran's just put in the chat. I can confirm Liam has pitted. So Liam then down in 10th. Can he gain on Joe and Sutty after his couple of mistakes he made before the pit stops? Can he gain on them now that he has pitted?
He's got a long way to go, mate.
He has got a long way to go. There is still 4 laps left though. So I mean, even though he's 17 seconds off the back of Joe, he's still got time, and Joe's made a few mistakes. This man though will be praying. So it was around lap 15 when the dreaded disconnection happened in race 1. So he will be praying that this one has gone right. Oh, a bit of a mistake there and a bit of a wiggle. A bit of lag. Oh, Jamie. You don't want to see it. You don't want to see it.
No, we don't. He'll be screaming at anybody who stands in the doorway of his bedroom to get out the way.
And this is the thing, Kelly, is led race 1 brilliantly, has come from 13th to lead this race brilliantly. Oh, your heart is in your mouth at the minute, and if you're Jamie, you're about to drop kick the telly if something goes wrong, I reckon.
Absolutely. Yeah.
While we are on this,
Jamie's still to pit, as is Little Leach. Net first place is Emo Guy. Dan's in between Emo Guy and Andy.
Yes.
So I don't know where Dan got in front of Andy, and Andy's about 4 seconds back. So I don't know how
Dan's gaining on the back of Emo Guy here, Kelly, as well. So he's trying to get on the back. Dan could be a net first place here, and I tell you what, if Emo Guy and Dan start battling, Jamie then has put himself in this mix, and Little Leach may put himself in this mix. Come on, Jamie, fingers crossed as teams prolapse as he's coming down the main street. Oh God.
Oh, and Matt's choking to death over the thought of Jamie not making it.
Excuse me, this cough is really getting on my nerves now.
You need to see someone about that.
29 likes. We need that one more like for Dan to do next week's race naked.
It says 30 on my screen.
Oh, does it? It says 29 on mine. I'll have to double check.
Well, we'll go with yours. We'll go with your screen because that way I can. I don't even want to talk about it. Do you know what I mean? This is my boy we're talking about.
Yeah, this is true.
Just no, it's just wrong on all the levels. So let's move on.
Yes, let's.
So Jamie is still yet to pit. So we will see. Is he going to come in this lap, or is he going to leave it till? He's got a couple more laps he can do. Where does he pull the trigger? Not yet. He goes round again.
He's getting to a gap now on track, into where he's just being able to maybe think about pitting and coming out ahead of Emo Guy and Dan.
Yeah, and Dan's just out, just breaking the 1 second gap to Emo Guy. You guys don't see it, but we get little indicators on our screen to say who's close to each other, and Dan's just outside that 1 second.
And this is where he'll make that time up. If you look at the time in the top middle of your screen to Emo Guy, you see that time just falling down here. As he's flashing his lights, is that a flash to Emo Guy or a flash to listen? Because I don't think he's listened to us because he's got his stream on, hasn't he? So he's reading his comments out on his stream. So I don't know if it's a flash to us or a flash to Emo Guy, but he gained about 3/10 on that straight. And you just had a little lift around turn 3. Now the tyres aren't squealing as much as what they would have been in the earlier race. He's maybe the cooler conditions have really sort of enabled these guys to really. I mean, Andy's in the 44s last lap, so I mean that shows the difference in the temperature. The fact that the tyres are able to push them tyres that little bit harder to get onto the back of them. Dan keeping the gap around a second at the minute. Emo Guy just pulled a 10th out, I'd say, this lap. Disco's on the back of Liam down the field. Is Sutty gaining on Gary? That'd be one to capture on the stream, I tell you now. Yakora passing the two-time champion. That'd be absolutely fantastic to see that one. Yeah, Dan there just seems to be catching Emo Guy a bit, but Emo Guy holding his own in them corner sections, and Dan slowly chipping away, but slowly isn't enough here. He needs to chip away a bit more. Now here's Sutty. He's got a couple of seconds back. Oh, look at Disco's car.
Yeah.
Oh dear.
Looks a mess, doesn't it?
Yeah, that's catching
Liam.
Nice. He is catching Liam, so maybe that's a mess from earlier, and it's just not fixed the visuals. Little Leach is coming to the pits at the end of lap 16. Oh, Liam. Oh, Disco.
That was close. They went door handle to door handle there. I think they just rubbed, and Disco gets in front of Liam as Little Leach is in the pits.
Yes, he's in the pit. So Emo Guy and Dan get past. Where's Andy gone? Andy's dropped off the back. D Biggs has passed Andy. So what has happened to Andy is he dropped it somewhere then.
Dropped it.
Yeah, so Dan's got an extra place. This will allow Little Leach, who probably would have lost out to Andy, to get ahead of Andy and stay ahead of D Biggs at the moment. Guys, lap 17 of 18, get your voting for driver of the day in this one. Jamie's got to pit at the end of this lap as Little Leach is out the pits. There's D Big. This is going to be tight coming down towards turn 1. Peaceful's back in the pits as D Biggs gets through. Yeah. So good job from D Biggs. Oh, have we had a spinner? I think there's a spinner at turn 1. There is a car off. I think that's Welshie. Oh yes.
Looking like that's not looking well, is it?
No, that's crawling. Here comes Gary then. Gary's got Sutty chasing him down. In fact, where is Andy? We've lost Andy from the race. I mean, Andy's got disconnected. Yeah, he must have retired from this race session. There is a car in the pits. That is Andy then. His name's not here. He's got to race distance, so he will score points for 13th place. But Andy, has retired from this one. What a shame, because he was running in a good position here. Jamie's now in the pits, and this is the important one. Jamie in the pit lane. Where is he going to feed out? This is the crucial pit stop. There's Emo Guy and Dan. Jamie is not even yet at his pit box. So then, what can Jamie do here? In stops. You see the track map, the 2 white dots on the track map coming towards the final corner now. They're just coming through the chicane. There's the shot of Emo Guy. Jamie sounded like he was away from his pit box. He is on the right-hand side, but I don't think it's enough. disqualified. Come on, Emo Guy, see this one out. So Andy got disqualified. I wonder if he had to come into the pits, and he came in too fast. Emo Guy, though, has taken the lead, and Danny's second as we enter the final lap of this race. Dan's just a bit too far back from Emo Guy. Is Ian going to take his first win in the Ginetta? The Ginetta's second win. Will this be the first race win of Emo Guy this season? He's had a couple in the past, but not yet taken one this year. Dan, though, second and first at the minute. He will take that after what happened last week. Jamie's dropped to third, so Jamie didn't do enough, but he's still on that podium. What a job for Jamie at the end of this one.
Yes, indeed. And again, both Jamie Brazier and Dan Unorthodox both started from the back of this race, so stellar effort from both of those. Dan's gaining on him, but I don't know if he's going to have enough. And Ian's no slouch, Emo Guy, and he knows how to defend. So catching is one thing, passing is another for sure. So, but we'll see how this one pans out. We're Little Leach right up behind D Biggs again. He's seen an awful lot of the back of that Porsche this evening, but these guys are into turn 10 and just coming round to the final sections. I don't think Dan's going to have an opportunity.
He's got as close as he has the whole time at the moment, and he's really trying to push it. I think one more lap Dan may have done it, but he's
another
going to
couple he would have had it done.
He's definitely pushed that Porsche his final lap, but it's not going to be enough. It looks like it's going to be Emo Guy who is going to take his first race victory of the season. What a job for him in this one. Stellar race. Dan, though, will not be disheartened with a P2 as the Ginetta comes across the line to win yet again. Welshie in the background will get P12. Big boy Brazier, thankfully the Wi-Fi held out, gets P3, so he'll be happy that he's got some points on the board. This the battle then for fourth. D Biggs versus Little Leach. D Biggs, can he hang on in there? Just got to get that Porsche around this final bend, and he has done, and that will probably be that one. Little Leach will be disheartened with fifth, but D Biggs at the end, a P4, solid result for him. Gary, well, fifth and sixth, not his night tonight. He's managed to stay ahead of Sutty in the end, but with Gary not here next week, that's not the points he'd have liked to have picked up tonight. We'll get a chat from Gary in a moment, as that was his 50th race start. Here comes Sutty Apex, the Acura P7. Good results for Sutty tonight, 7th and a 6th. Rabbit Joe, a P8. Not a bad night for Joe tonight, if you're Rabbit Joe. Decent night of points, would you say?
It's shame he couldn't. He had pace. Shame he couldn't just have got a little bit further up the grid. Do you know what I mean? A little bit of a case of what could have been, and same for Liam as well. A little bit of a case of what should have been or could have been with his early pace. Rabbit Joe and Liam still with work to do, but beginning to show some form. So.
Indeed, that's Welshie. That's Welshie who's finished on the. There's Peaceful. Welshie finished in the pit lane, hence why he's just kind of there. And we will get the fastest lap in just a moment. We have got 3 guys joining us. We're able to get Dan in as well. And fastest lap of the race, I think the only man in the 44s was Andy. Andy got to the line. Obviously, Andy got classified, even though he got disqualified from the race. He will claim that final point. Fantastic fastest lap from him. Which then, as I just tally up this. Before we go, or before we get a chat with the final 3 and the 50th start maker Gary, Constructors Championship change hands. Shake and Bake lead by 11 points, so Leachy Legends not having it their own way at the moment this week. With no Gary next week, that's going to hurt them even more. And Gary then leads his way still by 17 points in the Drivers' Championship. So, again, Dan next week could be looking at maybe closing that ground, if not taking over from Gary there. That's put Emo Guy up into 4th, so stellar night for him in terms of points. Andy's gone ahead of Monkey Boy. Liam keeping his place in the top 10. Little Eats just dropping down behind Emo and Jamie Brazier there. Sutty's climbed up the table a little bit to be on the same points as Rabbit Joe. Not really many changes in the constructors other than that Class of 97 back in front of the Ironbury Racing lads, so them having a good battle for P2. And we'll start then with Gary, 50th appearance for the 2-time champion, but not the night you would have wanted.
No, not really. Didn't go quite to plan with it, but we made it and we got a few points in the bag, so all counts.
You miss next week. How much is that going to hurt your championship standing, or do you think that when you come back you'll still be able to get it?
Not too bad. I think my drop score's 22 points at the moment, so I'll get them back next week anyway. So. 22 points, yeah. 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 22 points
Your drop score's now 21 after tonight, so you'll get 21.
All right. Well, happy days. Can't complain.
No. Well, well done, mate. Congrats on the 50th appearance as well.
Thank you.
Yes, indeed.
We've got Jamie in with us. Jamie, disappointment in race 1, what can I say? But race 2 was all yours. Great race.
Yeah, that was a great race. It was just a bit of a struggle getting past Andy. If I say that's why I went so long, just trying to stay in the clean air, then say sticking behind Andy's genetics, it was just getting me nowhere.
You must be getting a bit frustrated with these internet disconnections.
Frustrated is a bit of an understatement.
What can you do next week, Jamie? Is it internet depending? Would you like to say what you'd be able to do? Or I mean, the weather looks horrendous.
Well, I was going to say, with what I've seen the weather's going to be, it's just, if I can just keep it on the track, that'd be job well done. And pick up as many points as possible. But the internet problems are becoming just a bit of a joke now.
Yeah. Well,
who's your internet provider, just so everyone can avoid them?
TalkTalk.
Right, got ya. Note to self, don't have TalkTalk.
I had a letter through from TalkTalk today, a promotional letter as well. Binned that.
Well, yeah.
However, I should be getting other internet at the end of the month.
We will say there is other internet providers out there, and let's hope so for your sake, Jamie, that you'll be able to have a better end to the race. Congrats tonight, mate. Well done on the third. Dan,
thank you.
I think nobody said driver of the day. You've got my vote for driver of the day with the first and second. I think you've probably got Kelly's as well. That is the result you needed after last week.
Yeah, definitely. So I was catching in right at the end there, literally to the last lap. But I think one more lap, I might have had him. I made a couple of errors here and there, but no, fair play to Ian. He did a great job. He defended well, and I couldn't quite bring the gap down enough. So fair play to him. And that's what I need. First and a second. Gary's away next week, so bring up all the points that I possibly can.
Well, you took the lead in the constructors now. You're 17 behind Gary in the overall standings for the drivers. From last week when it was doom and gloom and championship's over, what's the point? To hang on, I've still got a chance this week.
I did say to you, Matt, the gloves are off now, and I was coming for him. And if I'm honest, when I started the night, I didn't feel confident. I really didn't feel confident. But as the night went on, I just trusted the car, trusted the strategy, and it came through. So it's redemption for last week.
Not that I want to talk about it too much, but I've got 33 likes on my screen.
Yep, looks like someone's racing in the nude next week.
I said I don't want to talk about it too much.
High.
Well done, Dan. Congrats tonight.
Well done.
Ian, mate, first race win of the season. It's been a slog in this Ginetta, but you've got there in the end, and good pace tonight.
Yeah, well, Matt, it's very much like Dan. Going into tonight, I was not feeling confident at all. When I was doing practice earlier on, the car just did not want to stay pointing forward. It just wanted to spin at every corner. But going into the first race, after the unfortunate incident with me spinning, I started to feel a little bit faster and faster as the race went on. Reclaimed where I got. Second race, me and Andy also claimed first and second for qualifying, and I just felt amazing after that, and we just took it into the race and continued.
Yeah, you got a decent getaway. Not as good as Joe and Liam. They seemed to swamp you and Andy at the start and get ahead of you, but you got past them as they made a few errors. And it was just about keeping the laps in, I suppose, from there. How was the tyres on the Ginetta tonight?
They were actually raced on the hards tonight, and if anybody knows me in Project Cars, they know that I absolutely hate the hard tyre in this game. And I just thought, the softs were going half dead within 2-3 laps. So I just thought, try the hards, see what I can get, and the tyres were doing fantastic for me.
Well done, mate. Sorry, Kelly, go on.
Sorry, Matt. Did you find the race 2 being easier with the cooler conditions, Ian? Did you find that that there was a bit easier to drive, a little bit cooler in that race?
Well, I was actually kept an eye on the temperature from the first race to the second one, and it was only like 3-4 degrees difference. So it was. But the car did feel faster in the second race, even though it was only a slight change in temperature. But yeah, I'm happy with the result tonight. Unfortunate for Andy with what happened with the pits. But yeah, it's fantastic points. My second one here at Simplay, and I'm sitting here right now, and you could probably wring my t-shirt with the amount of sweat that I was pushing out when I knew that Dan was chasing me.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. But a good result, Ian. Well done.
Thank you.
Kelly, any last words from yourself tonight?
Yeah, a bit of a mixed bag this week, isn't it? A lot of disappointment for people. Poor old Jamie. Lap one we feel, race one we feel for him. Rabbit Joe, Liam, and a couple of guys in Pro-Am, including myself. I'm going to wave goodbye to Catalunya with 2 fingers in the air, to be fair, and bring on Zuhai. And I've got me waders and I've got me fishing rod.
Yeah.
And bring on Zuhai next week, really.
Yeah, we're looking forward to the boat race next week, not the motor
absolutely.
race, because the weather looks absolutely horrendous. That's all we've got time for, though. Join us on Monday night for the GT5s round Donington Park. With Liam and Jamie, your hosts for that one. I think we'll have Green Pies. I think he's hopping in with them as well for during that night to help them out. So join us for that one Monday night, 8 p.m. BST, and then we'll be back for the Pro-Am and the Pro next Wednesday and Thursday as normal. Round Zuhai International at the halfway point of the season. Can Kelly put the pressure back on Fury? Can Dan take advantage of Gary with Gary not being here? Well, that's all we've got time for, though, folks. We'll catch you next week. Thanks for liking and subscribing if you have. We'll see you later, though. Take care. Good night.
Thank you. Good night, guys.
Between us, yeah, I'm gonna be there for you.